life-threatening disaster scenario imaginable. Subscribe and listen for free on Spotify. Can you survive this podcast?
Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM if you're on the go. ESPNSA.com. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. James Pledger driving this boat all the way to 7 o'clock. How's everybody doing today on a sunny Wednesday afternoon? Hump day upon us. It's been an easy skate this week. Yeah, it has been fantastic. It's been, been an easy skate. You don't have to worry about being killed by the weather when you walk outside. Sunny, breezy. I got a big Traeger box sitting out front. So my altitude has improved immensely over the last.
Well, that's why you're in such a good mood.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
See, he thinks he's in a good mood now because he finally got it delivered, and now he's trying to figure out. Rob is.
It's bigger than I expected.
There's a joke there. You're determined to put this thing together.
I am. Well, now I've painted myself into a corner. I have to.
Because, and I'm telling you, hire it done. You want it done right. Hire it.
No,
hire it out.
I was going to yesterday. I knew that it was imminent to be delivered. And I got into it with my family who were saying, well, just go ahead and hire somebody because there's going to be blood and there's going to be curse words and no one's going to want to be around you. And I started, hey, look did you forget who you're talking to?
No,
and,
that's why they said that.
Let me just say that's how it began, and how it ended was me sending flowers to my wife. It was so now I got to put it together. At least I have to give it a valiant attempt and lose a finger in its attempt because I have painted myself into a corner.
We can start calling Rob Stubby.
Well, I'm just.
You just want me to send you the number of the guy that built mine? I mean, it took him about an hour. 75
Will
bucks.
He do it in the dark? Could I just have like
for a small fee?
Traeger ferry show up and we just wake up the next morning and it's put together and I can tell the wife that I was up all night and I got it done.
No, after all the grief you gave Minix, there's no way.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like I'm going to have to get it done, which means that the Tri-County will get a visit this week as I am christened. And I understand I need to name it. I'm going to have to come up with a name that's appropriate to the Traegerness that has been brought to me. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk some grilling tomorrow, as we do every Thursday for our Grilling with the Blitz. We give away a $50 gift card. You got yourself a grill. You want to show off your meat? Upload the picture at ESPNSA.com, and you could win a gift card. Today we're doing some cooking, as we always do on Wednesdays. Mark Singleton going to join us from Southern Recipes, small batch pork rinds, and we're going to put together a delectable menu item. With a piece of which that'll involve pork rinds that normally applies to a keto-friendly lifestyle. It's always spectacular.
And again, lots to go with that and you building the Traeger. I think you should put up a video of you putting together the Traeger.
I've contemplated that.
Maybe just put it on a Facebook Live.
I don't know. I want to do that. I want to have. I need to be able to fix it in post, as it were. I want it to look smooth. I don't want anybody to see all those extra nuts and bolts that are left over when I'm completely done and angered, sweaty, bandages. I think it'd be fun to watch getting there, but no one really needs to see that. Dr. Lane Naugher is going to join us as we're speaking injuries in just a couple of minutes. And we're going to go over what we've heard from the Tiger Woods surgery. Sounds like he's in a pretty desperate stance as far as the breaks, literally having to be pieced back together in a couple of different locales, ankles and bones. And Dr. Naugher of the TSAOG is going to join us. We're going to talk about the surgery and the long rehab that Tiger faces. That'll be coming right around the corner. We know what the Spurs are going to be doing for the rest of the season. They have released, they being the suits, the NBA higher-ups, have released what we like to call the Bataan Death March. That is the second half of the NBA season. My goodness. What is it like? We're actually playing 47 games in 32 days.
It's crazy.
We're playing lots of double headers. It's an interesting way to finish out a season. I'm proud of the NBA for fitting them all in. It is a ridiculous schedule.
Even the triple headers that they're in. Then in all reality, the Spurs are going to have 40 games in 68 days. a handful of back-to-backs, a lot more road games, which is good. 23 on the road, 17 at home. They are 9-3 on the road, so that's not bad. But I mean, 40 games in 68 days, not more than 1 day in between games for rest, a handful of back-to-backs. You can't get the COVID, you can't get an injury, and you better get all your sleep because there will be no rest for the weary. None. I mean, it's a brutal schedule for a team right now that has been playing good basketball. And we knew it was an easier part of the schedule in the first half. We knew the second half was going to be brutal, but it's not just the Spurs. I look at, the story this week, and maybe the NBA and ESPN types and LeBron knew what was coming on the schedule. Maybe they had an early look-see at it and started bitching about rest early and load management, which is something that we all hate, including LeBron. But this guy is on an MVP pace. But the pace right now without Anthony, it ain't going to happen. I mean, you talk about running out of gas, load management and that all-star break rust. I get a feeling that LeBron knew what was coming and knew how brutal it was going to be.
Yeah. Load management's going to be we saw it this weekend, Jason. We saw the Clippers sit Paul George down with 2 minutes to go in the game because he'd reached his 33-minute max, as it were. So the regular season, it don't matter for a lot of these teams, which makes it good for the Spurs. If you're chasing wins and you're willing to close out games and expend that extra energy, there's wins that are going to be had against teams that are older. The Spurs ain't exactly old, but they ain't exactly young either. You expect to see a fair amount of load management happen with the Spurs as well. But all things considered, I'd much rather have this team face this schedule than some of the previous teams.
True. I'll give you that. I mean, this is with the young legs that the Spurs have. But, man, you get an injury in there, it's going to be brutal.
Any kind of COVID delay. It is good to have a strong G League team. Let's just put it that way. It's good to have a good farm system because you get the feeling that there's going to be a lot of guys getting called up on the regular. Next, I want to see, we got Trey Jones and Lucas Samanich that are going to be in uniform tonight as the Spurs travel to Oklahoma City. We'll get you ready tonight at 6:30. Jill Jelnick for Mellow Mushrooms Game Night San Antonio. We'll get you ready for the first game in, 6-8 months. They're going to get back, shake the rust off, and we'll welcome LaMarcus back to the fold. And at 6:30, we'll talk all about it. There is the possibility that the slam dunk competition has improved immensely. The guy that we're waiting to see is intimating that he might actually join the likes of John Morant and Obi Toppin and those that are already committed to the slam dunk competition. We'll look at what's coming that way. And also with the Dallas Cowboys, it's never too early to talk Hard Knocks, is it? Tis the season to look forward to what next summer will be. And is there a more perfect time to put the Dallas Cowboys front and center on Hard Knocks?
Now, it is time to start speculating who's going to get Hard Knocks. And every year, the Cowboys are a candidate to be on Hard Knocks. There's always great storylines with the Dallas Cowboys. But last year, they couldn't do it because they had a first-year head coach.
Right.
This year, they could be in line to be on Hard Knocks.
No team is more equipped to host such a thing because of the way the star is situated. If there's still some kind of bubble in place, it can occur there because they're self-enclosed fields, hotels, all those things. So it does seem likely, and it certainly would fit the bill as we go into this season of uncertainty. We'll talk about the Dak contract today. We'll also look at it maybe an expanded season a little bit after 5 o'clock as the NFL is busy in the offseason. But coming back, let's talk injuries and what exactly happened to Tiger Woods yesterday afternoon as he went through what we were told was hours of orthopedic surgeons' efforts, screwed together ankles and rods placed in legs and releasing tension and swelling. We're going to talk about it all and the recovery that Tiger Woods is about to go through coming up next with Dr. Lane Naugher of the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. Get your smart caps on. We're about to learn something. Hold on tight. You're on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
It's about 80 degrees outside. We are getting into barbecue season. Jason Minix here for my friends over at Barbecue Outfitters, the place where I got my Kamado Joe Jr. Barbecue Outfitters, Their spring into spring sale is happening now through Saturday, March 6th. Barbecue Outfitters is your Central Texas homegrown barbecue grill store. You know, they've been doing it here in Texas for 23 years, and they've got great deals on classic products, including Weber grills, the Big Green Egg, the Kamado Joe, Traeger pellet smokers, and all their outdoor kitchen packages. All qualifying grills get instant double in-store rebates and savings of $40 to over $800. Barbecue Outfitters has free assembly and free in-home service for 1 year. And right now, Barbecue Outfitters is clearing their gas logs and fire pits with savings up to 40%. A great time to get your grill, your smoke, your outdoor kitchen, your gas logs, or your fire pit. A great time to get all of that done at Barbecue Outfitters, 1604 at Chavano Park at the next to the Ridge Shopping Center. Check out their website, bbqoutfitters.com. Again, the spring into spring sale happening now through March 6th. So you can get ready for grill season. You can grill and smoke like a pro when you go visit Barbecue Outfitters. Again, online at bbqoutfitters.com.
Game Nights The Blitz focuses on your silver and black in depth for 30 minutes. Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Matt Bonner.
Spend your game nights with us. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
You know, injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG Orthopedics has got you covered. Not all injuries, though, require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries. He also does concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through OrthoConnect. You know, there's no reason to be in pain. So if you're hurting, visit the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Start by going to the website, tsaog.com. That's tsaog.com.
Nobody plans on getting arrested, but it happens. Get out of jail fast by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. Call AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans and are open 24/7. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149. Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
You run a business and you need better wireless. 3 words, no more compromise. With the T-Mobile Business Advantage, you get the largest 5G network, award-winning customer support, and insanely great value. No trade-offs. Right now, get up to 90 days of unlimited free on business plans when you switch via bill credits. Stop in to find out more. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Complete port within 60 days. Customers over 50 gigabytes per month have lower speeds during congestion. Video at 480p, unlimited on our network. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices coverage and plan details.
Welcome on to the Blitz. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Maddie Sky of mysa.com is going to join us in about 30 minutes as we look around our great city. Something floating around on the socials. Ellen Degeneres and HEB partnered for lots and lots of money donated to the San Antonio Food Bank. I'm sure we'll talk about that and many things in just a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, we are joined by Dr. Lane Naugher of the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. Let's talk surgery, as Tiger Woods at post one-car rollover suffered significant injuries to a right leg, fractures and the likes. Let's get to the knowledge of it. Dr. Naugher, welcome aboard. As you've seen this, Doc, it looks like a war, like a MASH unit. You'd be dealing with something like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too bad of a metaphor. These are some of the kind of injuries that the military doctors might see at the kind of in a wartime scenario. So it's all pretty bad, to be honest.
Well, and you talk about having open fractures. How do you communicate it? How do you how do you say that? And what does that mean? I mean, I'm reading the statement going, oh my God, that sounds horrific. What does that mean?
Yeah, so that word comminuted is our fancy word, just means there's pieces. So when bones break, sometimes they'll break and it's just one clean fracture line, two big pieces. Those are the ones that are pretty easy to put back together. Sometimes they can be comminuted, which means it's smashed. It's little pieces. Which area of his bone was the actual comminuted part is probably difficult to say, but it's overall that shin bone sounds like it was broken pretty good, and that's why it took so long to fix, from what it sounds like.
My goodness, there's so many questions here. So when you do have a comminuted open fracture, that tells me, one, that it broke the skin. Right, that's a compound fracture. So infection is certainly going to be important. And then you're dealing with essentially puzzle pieces of bone. How do you put the bone pieces back together? Is it only screws and rods, or is there glue involved? I mean, or tape? I mean, I've seen a lot of different things.
No. Yeah, we've got a lot of different things for some of our surgeries of fancy stuff, but for this, it's metal. It's mainly metal. The comminuted part is probably down near the ankle, and they may have done some plates and screws. The other area that could have actually been that pieces of comminuted fractures is the middle part of his shin bone. Those you don't necessarily have to get each little piece put back together perfectly. He had a rod called an intramedullary nail, meaning into the middle of the bone. They put a titanium rod, and as long as you get the bones lined up, the body's able to heal that in most cases. Now, the variable here that makes all of this so risky and such a bad injury was, number one, like you said, it was open or compound. The bone was exposed to the outside bacteria, so there's a higher risk for infection. But not only that, he had what was a procedure in addition to that was called fasciotomies, where when we get concerned after fractures that the swelling in an extremity or the leg is so much that the blood supply gets cut off, that can cause risk of loss of the limb. And so they actually had to make big incisions on his leg to open up the compartments to alleviate that pressure. And that's also a risk for non-healing of these fractures or even infection down the road.
When you talk about infection, I think right immediately to Alex Smith and everything that he went through. Yeah. And as scary as that sounds, obviously, that is obviously major concern right now for Tiger and his doctors. What do you do post-surgery to try to prevent the infection?
So number one, what we know with these kinds of fractures with an open injury, the number one thing is getting antibiotics started early. And so the earlier they can start, the better. He was at the hospital within an hour or so getting antibiotics, and then getting that initial surgery to go in and do what we call a debridement or washing it out. And so he had all of that. That's what the studies show is almost more important than many of the other things we do. Now, he's getting antibiotics right now. He's going to have further surgery to wash his leg again, most likely. And then probably more surgeries to put skin grafts on, even to cover those wounds. But there's still the risk of infection, even if everything is done perfectly.
Dr. Lane Naugher joining us here on the Blitz. He's from TSAOG, the Sports Institute there. You recognize him regularly on our Tuesdays with the docs. Now, the surgery is done. How long are we looking at just to walk? I mean, what's the process now that he's going to go through? You mentioned there'll probably be some more surgeries to clean up and the things. Can we start looking at the Alex Smith timeline as far as what he had to go through, if we're lucky and don't have to deal with the infection side of things like Smith did?
Yeah, I really think it is more on the Alex Smith side of recovery, most likely. Now, there is the variable that Alex Smith's injury, he had a delayed infection, and then some other, that was actually a little bit different scenario. Now, if Tiger does not get an infection, he may have a little bit less road in recovery. But overall, Alex Smith, he had an ankle component to his as well. That's what will limit his weight bearing or letting him walk on it. His muscles are going to get weak. It is going to be months before he heals the bone enough that he can actually walk on it and really start to get stronger, let alone ever think about sports at this point. I mean, I think he's looking at least a year to year and a half before, optimistically calling it a full recovery.
And at some point, I mean, forget golf. It's just quality of life and being able to walk around the golf course with your son and watch him play, like we saw, recently with his son out there playing golf. It's in layman's terms, and to help all of us understand, I was talking to my mother today about this. She's very concerned over Tiger and relating to, because, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, she fell. She's older. She fell, broke her leg, and they put a rod in her rods, her rod. She named it Stewart. And she talked about the rehab that she had to go through and the pain. Oh yeah, we talk about Stewart all the time. Don't get me wrong, but it's my mother. But my mother's trying to compare the pain that she is still dealing with and the rehab that she had to go through, and wondering, is it because she's old that she's going through that, or will Tiger go through something similar?
Different injuries, but I think it's still similar. I mean, these are bad injuries, and especially hip fractures in older folks or elderly folks. That is a life-altering thing, and it is a lingering issue, just as your mother would probably attest to. These type of injuries, high-energy trauma that Tiger's had, these open fractures, this is a long road to recovery. Probably chronic pain will be a part of this recovery. Hopefully he can get out of that at some point. The other issue at stake here is the psychological component. I mean, trauma of this kind, rolling a vehicle, open fractures, having to be extricated. That's real trauma affects folks mentally. So that's another part to this recovery that's just another kind of a challenge that he's going to be facing.
Now, we talked about the screws and the rod that has been put in. I recall watching Alex Smith go through this, and this is really my only frame of reference. That large contraption that is attached to the leg that has the gauges and all that kind of stuff. Is that going to be part of the recovery process? What is that, and why do you have it?
Ideally, that will not be part of Tiger's rehab. Now, the reason Alex Smith needed that ring contraption that we call an external fixator, he had to have his rod and plates and screws removed because of that flesh-eating bacteria that he developed, that bad infection. Once hardware becomes infected, it needs to be removed, or you cannot clear the infection. If Tiger is able to get onto his road to recovery and an infection does not occur, he will not need to have the hardware that was put in removed. He will not have the need to have that scary looking gym set device put on his leg.
It's interesting because you compare Alex Smith, and when Dak Prescott broke his ankle, we were trying to compare those types of injuries, mainly because they both broke the skin. Dak seems to be well on the road to recovery, and we know what Alex Smith had to deal with just because of the infection, and not comparing what Tiger is going through with Dak, because Dak was just a good, clean break, and that's it. And we know there's a lot more to what Tiger was going through. But without an infection, layman's terms, how much easier does that make the road coming up for Tiger Woods?
Without an infection, it makes it substantially easier, because he would not be faced with additional surgeries a month from now. He's still going to need more for these washouts and probably to have skin grafts. But, without an infection, the bone heals. You can proceed with your rehab protocols, getting stronger sooner. Everything should just move along quicker. But if an infection set in, whether that's a week or 3 weeks or a month down the road, like it was for Alex Smith, that just delays everything. It complicates it. It slows it down. I mean, and then as far as Dak, an open fracture over the ankle is a much different animal than a fracture in the middle part of your shin, where there's really not a lot of skin covering that area. Much lower risk of infection with something like Dak had versus when you break the tibia. That is just one of those bones in the body that it is a high risk for infection. And so very different injuries. Dak's, we would not expect infection. We expect recovery and anticipate it to be pretty predictable. Tigers is not going to be so predictable. This is going to be kind of individual for him and a high energy. We call these car accidents at high speeds. It's just a different animal with more soft tissue, more muscle damage, just worse injury overall.
Dr. Lane Naugher here on the Blitz as we're discussing Tiger Woods' reparatory surgery yesterday. Ankles and tibias smashed and rotted and screwed together. The concern now, it looks like, is going to be the possibility of infection. Is there a time when you feel like you're out of the woods, or is there some kind of latent issue that you never really feel comfortable that you're free of infection or free from being infected? Or is it maybe 2 weeks from now, no problem, you feel better? Or is there a time frame?
Yeah, that's a really good question. The time frames, there's going to be kind of an early time frame that you get out of the danger zone, which is when his wounds are all closed, meaning they're either sutured, the skin is closed, or at some point a plastic surgeon or somebody may need to do a skin graft to cover those fasciotomies that we talked about. Once those wounds heal, which probably for him will take the next 2 to even possibly up to 6 weeks, but once those wounds heal, and there's no infection, that's step one. That's a good sign. But there is still the risk for a delayed infection, that maybe there is some bacteria that was lingering around that hardware that just never really flared up. And there's always a risk that down the road it could flare up. So there's kind of that uncertainty of, could the infection flare up later on? But if he gets out of that early phase where the wounds are healed, there's no swell, redness, there's no infection, then the risk drops significantly. But it doesn't go away completely, unfortunately.
When you think about somebody in a situation like this, and obviously the mental toughness of Tiger, I don't think can be compared to most regular people. If there's somebody that could just put their head down and power through rehab, it would be somebody like Tiger Woods. But I mean, how long before he's even going to be allowed to go home? How long of a hospital stay would an injury like this typically require?
So for him, he may be in the hospital, the actual hospital, for a couple of weeks. I mean, it could be that long. It's really going to depend on the degree of the injuries, or the skin or the soft tissue injuries, those open wounds, the fasciotomies that will need to be closed or covered. That's what will really determine when he's done with surgery. And then safe to get home will be based on his once he's done with surgery and how he's doing. So maybe ideally in the next week or so, but sometimes those kind of open wounds need to take time, and it may take a few weeks to get those closed up.
Dr. Naugher, thank you so much for the knowledge, man. It sounds like there's a long road to recovery, but it could be actually worse. We'll continue talking Tiger Woods and the surgery and the recovery. Dr. Naugher is with the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics. You're dealing with those kind of issues, go to TSAOG.com. Thanks for stopping by, Dr. Naugher. When we come back, let's talk Spurs schedule. It has been released. They're going to be busy. You better strap it up and get your rest. And Maddie Sky will very quickly follow. Hold on tight here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Gorgeous day. It's going to be a nice weekend. You're going to fire up the grill. You want the best for that grill. That great meal starts with great meat. That's why you need to get into Tri-County Meat Market. Locally owned, full service. They have carefully selected certified prime Angus beef cuts, the Wagyu, the upper choice, everything you need to up your grilling game: beef, chicken, pork. Those seasoned fajitas are incredible. The poppers, they got it all there at Tri-County Meat Market, including your milk and eggs, Rob.
The 5 for $25. They've got the milk and eggs and everything else you could possibly need to fill your cupboard. That's a great deal, and that is always going on. And now this weekend, as we come toward a fine weekend of barbecuing opportunities, I myself am going to christen a brand new grill. And if you're going to christen a brand new grill, you only want the absolute best. And that's what you get when you go to Tri-County Meat Market. Not only the finest meats, but the finest advice on how to cook things. I'm debating a tomahawk or a picanha. I know that they will both be at Tri-County Meat Market at the best rates possible and all the things that go along with it. You're looking for a rub, a particular kind. They've got a stock full of different rubs and shakes that will make all your finest meats even better, not to mention all the different things you might not find at a grocery store, maybe some frozen Cajun food, maybe some extraordinary cheesecake that I took home last week. Head over to Tri-County Meat Market. There's 2 locations, over on Huebner and out on Ralph Fair Road. And if you're a first responder, you're a cop, a fireman, an EMT, a military type, you know you're going to get 10% off. Head over there, fill your cupboard with a 5 for $25, talk to a fine meat purveyor, and christen your grill the right way. Head over to Tri-County Meat Market. Check out their website, tricountymeat.com.
ESPN San Antonio and Stevens Roofing come together in our drive to end hunger. Brought to you in part by Quarter Moon Heating and AC, Roof Fix, and Airtron Heating and Air Conditioning. We have come together to support the San Antonio Food Bank. Give what you can at ESPNSA.com.
Thomas J. Henry has been named one of the best places to work in the nation for 2020 by Glassdoor. Start your career today at TJHLaw.com. That's TJHLaw.com. San Antonio, Texas.
You can talk keto all you want, but if you don't have a team of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the diet marathon. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have these big, bold flavors that kick your taste buds into high gear. Korean kimchi barbecue, pasilla chili cheese, spicy dill, and more. Eat them right out of the bag or try them in your favorite recipes. You'll love this snack. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rind.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
And happy hour is back at Twin Peaks. Get up here Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. Feeling snacky? We also have select apps available for $2, $4, and $6. Cheers!
Mother's Window Tint sells Alpine car stereo. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, is the nation's newest Alpine dealer. To celebrate, we're saving you money on everything we sell. Car stereos, speakers, subwoofers, amplifiers, car alarms, remote start alarms, ceramic window tint, GPS tracking, all on sale. You're gonna save. Stores in Austin and San Antonio since 1984. Mother's Window Tint. Sales, service, installation. Thousands of adapter kits in stock. Great low prices. Like us on Facebook and send us a message. Mother's Window Tint sells Alpine car stereo. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app anytime, anywhere. Listen to more than 300 stations along with more than 3,000 podcasts from your home area or across the U.S., all free.
With the radio.com app.
The NBA and Keyshawn J. Will-and-Zubin. You have to be the best of the best to be the face of the league. It just can't be because of what you bring off the court. Get inside the biggest stories.
They're going to be very cautious with how they bring AD along and bring him back.
Plus, the insiders come here to tell you what to expect next.
There was some swelling. He's going to get an MRI today.
The NBA is on. Keyshawn J. Will-and-Zubin. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN News.
This is Renee.
Happy to be here.
She's not some influencer. She's more of a groundbreaker, turning her 4-acre lot into a little slice of heaven behind the wheel of a John Deere 1 Series tractor. Renee runs with us because the most important job is the next one.
That's all I got.
Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a 1 Series tractor for just $99 per month at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
It's the Blitz. You are dialed into ESPN San Antonio. Thank you so much. Go to ESPNSA.com. You can always stream us there. You can watch our broadcast. Catch a variety of other things if you missed Down for the Count or the Post Up or the Grind, or the Saturday Sunday Sports Grill, everything. Just go check it out. The Spurs have released the NBA has released the Spurs second half schedule. The Spurs begin again tonight after taking, how long has it been since they played? 2 weeks? 10 days?
Yeah,
Valentine's. So a little over 10 days. We're about 10 days out. They get the Oklahoma City Thunders tonight, and they're going to be busy through the end of the season. 40 games and 68 days, I believe, is the count, which doesn't a lot for a lot of time in between 3s and 4s and backs-to-backs and segababas and figababas and all the other things going to keep them busy.
Well, and keep in mind, I mean, part of the 40 games and 68 games is 5 games postponed, had to get put into that second half of the schedule, and those are the reason why they also have so many back-to-backs. And by the way, they've never won the second game of a back-to-back all year.
Segababa?
Yeah, the Segababas are bad, man. They need a shot for that because they've got 11 back-to-backs coming up in the second half of the season. Now, 3 of those back-to-backs are from the makeup games from the COVID cancellations, but so far 0-4 in the second game of a back-to-back.
Now, here's the good news. They're not going to have to play all those games. That's the good news. I mean, we're
at some
looking.
point they will.
At
some point they will. Adam Silver's getting every game in, man. Every game.
I think they're going to try. I think they're going to give it the college effort, but they're going to do their best to get themselves to that play-in tournament. If they can get there, I think that the NBA will be happy. Now, it does look like the rest of the country, as San Antonio is trending upwards or downwards, depending on how you want to parse the COVID numbers. So I do think that the chances of breakouts are getting slimmer as we go, but we're still seeing them on a regular basis from people that are being as cautious as possible. To expect to not have to, I don't think you can compact the season anymore, Jason. I don't think that the league and bylaws and time between game and all that kind of stuff will allow them to play this many games in this many days. So it just wouldn't surprise me if it might not be 40 games, maybe 30, 35.
Unless they extend the season, by all accounts, Adam Silver's getting everything in. We're already going with fewer games than a normal 82-game season.
Well, I appreciate the effort.
Come hell or high water, they're going to do what they can.
Mm-hmm.
What we're not seeing from the NBA is what we're seeing from, I don't know, Texas A&M, who, by the way, for the first time in school history, is going undefeated in the month of February in college basketball. I'm just saying. I mean, it's not like that. They're going to get all these games in. But what I find interesting, and Jeff McDonald had this in the Express News, which is, I noticed the heaviness of the Eastern Conference opponents. 25 of the remaining games are against the East. And right now we're 5-0 against the East. I mean, so while it's a brutal schedule as far as time goes, it's not near as brutal as I was expecting with all the opponents. And home road doesn't really matter, but they've been better on the road this season, and they do have more road games. It's the long trips. They have 2 5-game trips and 2 4-gamers coming up on the second half after the All-Star break that apparently nobody wants. Well, they want the break, just not the game.
Ordinarily the rodeo road trip would get them prepared for these long and arduous road trips. But because the road trip basically got truncated and cut off, they get to spread it out through the rest of the season. I think that it does work out well. I mean, they are playing some lesser teams in the East, and this is a team with a lot of young legs. And for the most part, the young guys have been relatively injury-free. The old guys have had their individual issues. Well, we'll get LaMarcus Aldridge back after his time off with the hip flexor tonight. So, of course, health is going to play a huge role. I think the Spurs have a G League roster where they feel comfortable with at least 2 of their guys sitting on the bench. I think we're going to get a good taste of what has happened over the last month from Trey Jones and Lucas Samanic tonight. So it could be worse, but the fact of the matter is this kind of thing benefits the Spurs because they're going to win some games on some nights when, they're playing a team with a star that's in for load management. And who are you going to rest against? A team like the Spurs, quite frankly. So I think they're going to benefit, maybe pick up a win or two just because of the tightness of not only their schedule, but the rest of the league, because everybody's trying to squeeze games in over the next 2 months.
And again, I think the advantages, take advantage of those opportunities when a team is resting against you. It used to be an insult to Spurs and Spurs fans. I think this year you take that gift when it is offered to you if you want this team to be a playoff team. And again, you think about the beginning of the season, the expectations for this Spurs team are all over the road, whether they were a playoff team or not a playoff team. Some people say as high as 4, others had them 6, 7, 8 getting to the play-in tournament. Others didn't. Again, it's been a bizarre year, but when you look at the way they've played and where they stand right now, even not playing for 10 days, they're still a playoff team. They've got the ability to make a push if they handle this ridiculous schedule coming up down the stretch. I mean, that's a lot of games, no practice time. And we know how Pop values practice time.
They're the only team in the playoffs from the West without an all-star. This has been a ridiculously successful year for Greg Popovich. If it stopped today, I think they pop champagne and go, wow, this worked out far better than we expected, because they sit in the playoffs as we are right now, not quite a home court for the first round, but a couple of wins here and there, and they could even be looking at a home court advantage if there's such a thing in this time. So I think where we sit today is extraordinary. And you get LaMarcus back tonight, and while the Spurs carried on without him, he's a valuable addition, and I would certainly like to see him come play very, very well over the next 2 weeks to kind of highlight his ability to help the likes of those teams that are starting to get a little concerned about this season. I kid you not. I think that all things considered, where we sit today, it's ridiculously successful. And we've lost some bad games. There have been some humiliating defeats. Now, we've given a couple of those as well. This has been extraordinary as we head into the All-Star break. I could not be happier.
I agree. I am pleasantly surprised with what we've seen from the Spurs, to the point that some of those bad losses you speak of have really pissed me off. And at the beginning of the year, I didn't know I was going to get pissed off at some bad Spurs games, because we see how good this team actually can be. Championship level, not yet, no. But competitive, go compete. Just don't get to the playoffs to get waxed in the first round. I'm good for that. And you brought up a valuable a point that they're the only team right now that would be a playoff team that has 0 all-stars. And I'm proud of like a DeJounte Murray, who goes to Twitter to call BS on the NBA and sticking up for DeMar DeRozan, who is having an incredible year. But that's 2 years in a row as a Spur. He's not an all-star. 2 years in a row, the Spurs don't have an all-star. And the sad part is I don't even know that he's the biggest snub. Should he be in? Absolutely. But I think Booker's probably the biggest snub to this point. And but not to be a playoff team with 0 all-star representation is kind of sad. Does he get in on a fill-in as somebody drops out? Yeah, maybe, but it ain't the same. But I was proud to see DeJounte sticking up for his teammate.
As he should. I think everybody in the game understand what DeMar's been doing. But the facts remain. The other guy that was snubbed is with the team that has just a slightly better record than you. That is really, he's a beneficiary of Chris Paul and the wisdom that he brings to a young team. But the fact is, I agree with you. Devin not only has earned being an all-star, but is one of those faces of the NBA for the coming years, where DeMar is, looking for, maybe if it's not his last contract, his next to last, and he is in the hinterlands of San Antonio. But they do sit in 5th place, and it was a snub because he's playing as well as he has ever played as an NBA professional. And it's not just because you don't just judge him by the points he scored.
It was either on Jump or Jalen and Jacoby. They talked about expanding the all-star rosters. And I know that's been discussed seemingly every year. They talk about that. So you don't have guys like Booker and DeMar left out when they probably should be there. What are your thoughts on expanding the all-star roster just to make sure everybody that deserves to be one? When I heard that, I thought, well, that just, don't do it for that. Like, all right, well, you should be, and we're just going to expand the roster to get you in. That seemed almost a little too participatory for me.
Yeah, it seems millennial, doesn't it? But keep in mind, when the all-star game was put together, there were only like 12 teams. I mean, there weren't that many teams to go by. So just filling a normal roster was, easy to do. And you could, and very few got snubbed. I think it's fine to expand it. Why not? You got to keep in mind, what's the purpose of the All-Star game? We've built some things into contracts. If you make All-Star, you get some money. But for the most part, that's an entertainment thing. And the more stars I can watch, I think the more entertained I'll be. I don't want it 20 guys per team, but I do think it's appropriate to have at least the opportunity for every team in a conference to be represented. I'd like to have at least a spot available. Doesn't mean that everybody gets to, but if it was needed, I'd like to think there's access so guys like Devin and DeMar don't get left off, because it is a career-defining achievement, and it can mean a little bit of money. Not a bad question. Coming back, Maddie Sky's going to join us. We're going to look around San Antonio, talk big news with the San Antonio food bank right here on the Blitz with Maddie Sky here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. As you sit today post snowpocalypse and headed into what looks like going to be a lovely spring, how healthy do you feel? Do you feel like you're overweight? If you feel like you're overweight, you probably are. You might be dealing with some symptoms they didn't even realize are attributable to your weight, like maybe you're not sleeping very well because you're snoring all night long, and maybe those joints that are sore, your knees and your ankles, it's because they're carrying too much weight. And of course, if you're dealing with nearly being diabetic or hypertensive and the weight playing a role, you might want to consider losing that. Now, diets are always in play. You can find them in a lot of different places, but off the rack is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Institute for Functional Health and Dr. Jacob Torres' ideas about how you lose weight. Learning how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat on a program that's put together specifically for you, your biology and genetics in play. That is really the only way to do it, right? The guaranteed success of help from medical professionals and your guidance. It's the only way to go. I've been with them for a year and a half now. Changed my life completely. I'm not the guy that I was before. I eat differently. I still enjoy the same foods that I did before, but I know when and how to eat them and do all things in moderation. I want you to meet Dr. Torres. Sit down and find out how easy it is and how quickly you can see the benefits of dropping the weight. Dr. Torres is available a variety of different ways. Call him, 210-468-1891. He'd be happy to have you around, show you his great building down there next to SAC over off Ashby. You can do the Zooms. You can do whatever you'd like, but I do want you to know what I know. Call Dr. Torres today. Go to their website, the instituteforfunctionalhealth.com. Take that functional health test. It'll open your eyes. Get on the road to wellness. Start losing some weight now in a program put together for you. It's the best thing I ever did. I want that for you. Call them today, and I'm sure you'll thank me later.
Getting ready for the hangover without the headache. The Saturday Morning Hangover. James Pledger and Jack Thompson. Saturday mornings 9 to 11. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. And on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roof Hub and Angry Elephant. Football sadly is over, but spring is around the corner and our silver and black look ready for a playoff run. If you can't watch the game at home, we have your solution with ice cold beer, great food, and giant screens at the Roof Hub. If the wife or husband, for that matter, prefers cocktails and girl talk instead of the game, drop them off next door at the newly remodeled Angry Elephant for great wine and appetizers. 2 bars, 1 location, 0 regrets. See you soon at 281 in Redland Road at the Roof Hub and Angry Elephant.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
Hey folks, Bob at Barbecue Outfitters, and it's time for our Spring into Spring sale now through Saturday, March the 6th. Barbecue Outfitters is your Central Texas homegrown barbecue grill store in Texas for 23 years running. Barbecue Outfitters is cooking up great deals on all our classic products, including Weber grills, the Big Green Egg, the Kamado Joe, Traeger pellet smokers, and all our outdoor kitchen products. All qualifying grills get instant double in-store rebates with savings of $40 to over $800. Barbecue Outfitters has free assembly and free in-home service for 1 year. Plus, Barbecue Outfitters is clearancing our gas logs and fire pits with savings of up to 40%. A great time to get your grill, smoker, outdoor kitchen, gas logs, or fire pit. Barbecue Outfitters on 1604 at Chavano Park next to the Ridge Shopping Center and at bbqoutfitters.com. Come check out our Spring into Spring sale now through March 6th and get ready to grill or smoke like a pro. Come and see us.
Okay, set it down over there and then go to bay 5.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Need to keep going to finish.
Like Amir's warehouse. To expand capacity, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Chrissy is refinancing her home, so she shopped around for the lowest rate and found it at AmeriSave.com, setting her up for a lifetime of savings. It's one decision she'll never regret, unlike wearing tap shoes to a surprise party.
Sorry, guys. Just trying to find the perfect hiding place.
Pretty regrettable, Chrissy. Unlike finding that low mortgage rate at AmeriSave.com that's got you on your way to a lifetime of savings. AmeriSave's rates won't be this low forever, so go to AmeriSave.com now. Lower mortgage rates mean higher savings. Call 866-514-SAVE or visit AmeriSave.com/licensing for cost information, terms, and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all states except New York. NMLS number 1168.
I ain't even here right now. We the Blitz will bring to you the best look of the city view. It's Maddie Skyline. Yeah, it's time for Maddie Skyline.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Go to ESPNSA.com right now or to Facebook and take a look at Maddie Sky of MySA.com joining us for her weekly. Welcome aboard, Maddie. How are you today?
Good. I'm now that you said that, I'm hoping that I don't have lipstick on my teeth somewhere.
Wow.
No, that's Minix.
It happens. It happens. It's just one of those things that, if the lighting is just right, it happens. Lots going on today. First off, congratulations, best Twitter follower for San Antonio. I saw you're getting some accolades from other publications, which is weird that they would highlight another publication. So kudos to you. Congrats.
Wait, what?
Social media follow, so all together, not just Twitter.
What award did you win?
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm old. It's all the same to me. Twitter is all social media.
What exactly?
San Antonio Magazine. San Antonio Magazine issues an annual Best of City publication, or wrap up. It's 184 people that they say are shaping the city's culture. Everything from businesses to food to personalities online to local leaders. All that good stuff. So I got best social media follow in San Antonio.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I've been waiting to share that for some time. I finally got the issues out now, so I was able to tell everyone.
With all the rights and duties therewith, I'm sure. We had big news today from Ellen Degeneres. It looks like she is partnering with HEB for a huge donation.
I don't know if she's partnering. She's kind of just like spotlighting, from what I can understand, the effort from HEB, and she's kind of providing space on her platform on the Ellen website to have people donate, because HEB has opened the campaign up to, when you check out, you can donate to different causes. Right now it's going primarily to Feeding Texas, because it's so crazy to think of what was going on last week compared to where we are today. I couldn't even talk to y'all last week because things were so spotty and hectic.
Well, yeah, it is amazing. And for HEB donating, looks like at the very least $1 billion to area food banks. And Ellen spotlighted that on her show with one of those massive checks from HEB, and trying to get, people from outside of Texas that maybe don't have the luxury and opportunity to shop at an HEB to donate and get some of that money coming in to help Texas. But incredible what HEB has done. And you talk about, the way things were just a week ago. And the old saying, if you don't like the weather in Texas, hang around 15 minutes, it'll change. It's amazing that a week ago we were melting snow to flush our toilets, and today it's 80 degrees.
It's, heartbreaking times. I wanted to pile on to the HEB effort. They also donated $100,000 in meal simples, which I love meal simples, to food banks. So, and this is part of their larger hunger relief efforts that date back to the 1980s, but have really revamped within the last year with COVID. They've donated millions of pounds of food to food banks throughout Texas, and now they're dealing with a pandemic and now a utility crisis, winter storm, brought on by winter storm. So kudos to HEB. Last night was the first time I've been to HEB since everything started, and the workers were working so fast to get the pallets unloaded onto the shelves. This was around like 8:30 last night, and my HEB looked much different. There were pallets everywhere. So a welcome sight. We've been eating out a lot because we ran low on food.
It's funny, and I don't think anybody who's outside of the reach or purview of what HEB does for the community, no one quite understands the relationship between the customers and the company. It's one of those things that they continue to just astound and keep us grounded in times that just seem to be upheaval. HEB has always been the consistent there, and I think that's lended some comfort to the city. It really it's amazing what it has and how they have affected us. And it's those standbys again. We saw the power out, and where was everybody lined up? They were either at HEB or at Whataburger. I mean, that's our fallback. That's where we go to feel comfort and feel normal. And it's a blessing to have a company that you feel comfortable knowing that at worst, I know they're out there working for me. And I think a lot of us didn't feel like that last week with every other thing that we touch with, the government and the power and the water, things that we expect, that we rely on. They fell through, but HEB was still there. It's been a remarkable time for them. And I don't think we will ever get over our allegiance to a company that has done so much for us.
It's so weird going elsewhere and seeing how many grocery stores exist. Like, y'all just don't have one HEB? No.
I mean, you talk about the conveniences and love of an HEB. And Rob, you lived in Florida. You shopped at Publix when you were living in Florida, I assume, because that's their version. Last week when I was stranded in Florida, we had to go buy certain things to spend a couple extra days away from home that you weren't expecting to. So we went to a Publix, and it ain't the same. It ain't the same. It's crazy just how nice an HEB is. Maddie, you had something on Twitter today that got me to thinking, because I have been sitting in this same chair now for about a year. The only thing different is we put up the backdrop so you didn't have to look out the kitchen window. We are coming up on 1 year of working from home. And I've noticed when we do the video shoots, you've been in a variety of different rooms. I feel like I know your floor plan of the house. You move around as opposed to one just stationary spot, right? Why is that?
I'm a nomad because I'm so antsy. You're right. I move pretty often. I like the bed. I like the couch. I work everywhere aside from the desk that I set up. The desk that I set up now has a Cricut machine on it and boxes underneath. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, I float around everywhere. A Cricut machine.
What is that?
Women make lots of money off of these machines. They basically make like stickers that you can, like vinyl stickers, that you can personalize. Water cups or water, what do you call them? I'm blanking. Water, like a straw thing.
Like a jug? It's not something producing those little black creatures that are going to be out in front of every department store here in a couple of weeks.
Is it like a label maker?
Like a fancy, what do they call it? It's like a fancy label maker. What was that? Yeah, it's a fancy label maker. I'm just thinking about the people that are listening on the road right now, and they just heard that scream. It probably scares the living daylights out of them.
We don't do radio for people in cars anymore.
Yeah, that scream that you heard, Pledge. Can we hear that again? So that was Matt Cedoroff from Channel 4 last year when he was doing a news story on the cricket invasion, and one apparently touched him. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. I spoke to like a bug expert a few months ago asking when San Antonio could expect the cricket invasion again. They basically didn't have an answer. It was kind of like, we're just going to wake up one day and they're going to be invading all in your hair.
Find a new bug guy.
That's comforting. We don't know. We've tabbed the finest scientists in the world, and crickets, man, they just appear. It's magic.
They just show up.
Don't know. It just happens. Matt Sky joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Hey, we've rounded the bend, and you feel like we made it through snowpocalypse or snowvid, we all want to call. The weather's been nice for the last couple of days. The sun has been out. We're heading into spring. The numbers are decreasing. On the social beat, are you getting the sense that things might start to open up a little bit more, and some of the things that might have been postponed or limited are looking at maybe eyeing more people, larger venues, more days, whatever it might be? Are you getting that sense?
I would hope so, but I'm so traumatized for the past year. I don't want to keep my hopes up for anything. But I did see Maluma is coming to San Antonio. I'm very excited about that. I love him. He's my future husband. So that's it. I think that's the first time I've actually been excited about a concert, like in the past year. Maluma.
Maluma?
Malum. God bless. Malum, I'm not going to start singing for you. I don't know if you know any of his songs. No, I'm not going to do that. We don't want to have people's eardrums busted.
Sure we do.
No, we don't. No.
Well, just do a little bit of a song to see if we know it.
No.
Maluma, the Colombian singer.
The Colombian hottie. Yeah, him.
Well, that's not
I will
what
have-
it says. but,
Hottie.
he is an interesting. Well, I'm just curious as I see us feeling better about ourselves. We're going through this week of PTSD and just trying to think like, a week ago today, I was fighting for my life. I was shoveling snow to take a crap.
It's a very real thing.
Yeah, well, absolutely it has been. But I feel like as the days have gone by and the summer things are about to burst. I'm just ready for that first domino to fall where you start feeling just a little bit more normal.
I would hope so. And I feel like, I don't know if it's the trauma or what, but I feel like a lot of people are choosing to stop. They're not wanting to talk about what happened last week. But there is a group that is getting all these stories out online. People are sharing their stories. A woman from San Antonio burnt her bed frame to keep warm last week. And their motive, it was Move Texas, another group, their motive, lots of groups are trying to get these stories out online tomorrow for the hearing on ERCOT. That way, these stories don't get sidelined and they stay relevant, which I think is important because there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of unpacking to do trauma-wise for people. We helped our backyard neighbor. We had to run a plug into our house to keep his house warm. I mean, things like that were happening in communities everywhere that are still hurting people. So.
Oh, I
didn't mean to end it on a sad note.
Right. No, it's not a sad note. It's time to take stock of where we are and get to where we need to be. And I think a lot of people had no idea how bad things were. We do know now there will be prices to be paid and things are going to get done. I think the anger is only beginning with that. I'm just talking about the idea of our very basic existence being threatened.
Right.
Now we don't have to worry about freezing to death. Maybe I can go get something on a stick standing outside amongst friends here the next month and a half.
Hopefully. Would love that. We deserve it at this point.
Maddie, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Stay safe. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Maddie Sky, the best Twitter follower in all of San Antonio, so I'm told. She'll offer the Twitty Award to us maybe next time she joins us. Coming back in the 5 o'clock hour, we got a whole bunch to talk about. 17 regular season football games. What? We'll also look at the Spurs as they get ready for the Oklahoma City Thunders tonight. Hold on. Here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you're still dealing with some plumbing issues, you need to call Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899 is the number. Whether it's from the pipes in the freeze from a week ago or you've just discovered you've got some plumbing issues, the everyday variety, they're full service there at Quarter Moon. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quarter Moon, no commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899 is the number. 651-5899, or go to the website, quartermoonplumbing.com.
The Post Up with Brendan Medina and Jack Thompson. All your hoop needs. Fridays at 7 after the Blitz. From the NBA to college hoops, as well as the major culture's basketball influences, like sneakers, movies, video games, and more. The Post Up with Brendan Medina and Jack Thompson. Fridays at 7 after the Blitz. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com. ESPNSA.com.
Injuries happen. If you twist, pull, bump, or snap something, you need to know about the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture, TSAOG has got you covered. Not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries and concussion baseline testing. Telemedicine services are available through Ortho Connect. If you're hurting, go to the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online, TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Airrosti. At Airrosti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Airrosti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Airrosti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Airrosti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Airrosti, we fix pain fast.
Okay, set it down over there and then go to bay 5.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business
We're gonna
thin.
need to keep going to finish.
Like Amir's warehouse. To expand capacity, he needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
You run a business and you need better wireless. 3 words, no more compromise. With the T-Mobile Business Advantage, you get the largest 5G network, award-winning customer support, and insanely great value. No trade-offs. Right now, get up to 90 days of unlimited free on business plans when you switch via bill credits. Stop in to find out more. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Complete port within 60 days. Customers over 50 gigabytes per month have lower speeds during congestion. Video at 480p, unlimited on our network. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices coverage and plan details.
Hi, this is Greg Norman. You're listening to San Antonio's sports leader, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
KCDC San Antonio. Jason Minutes, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. You made it. It's 5 o'clock. The hump day be done. We're downhill almost. He's Jason Minutes. I'm Rob Thompson. This hour, we got good news if you're an NFL fan. 1 more game to love and 3 fewer than we hated. So good news coming there. We'll talk Hard Knocks with the Dallas Cowboys. Spurs, as they jump back into action tonight, they're heading up to Oklahoma City. We're going to look very much in depth into Tiger Woods' recent injuries from the 1-car accident yesterday there in Los Angeles, the shattered leg and the ramifications of the surgery. Dr. Josh Bell of the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics will join us at 5:30 as we look at the reparation, the work that was done on both of Tiger's legs. Dr. Bell will give us some insight into what was done and how long it will be before we see Tiger standing vertically. In the meantime, let's talk some Dallas Cowboys. The rumors are now floating as it's time to pick a team to participate in the annual Hard Knocks event put on by by HBO. Got HEB on the mind. And by HBO every summer. Last year was weird. You know, they tried to double it up and give us Chargers and Rams because they were both in the same town. It just was antiseptic, and we just didn't get a whole lot out of it. But how do you fix something that's gotten dull? You bring the Dallas Cowboys back, baby. That'll pepper it up a little bit.
Well, and I think last year, too, was, the COVID, which is why they went
it just got
Los
dull.
Angeles. Yeah, 2 teams right there. I think we now know how to handle COVID, and film crews could certainly be around. And I would like to think when training camp starts, maybe more and more people will have been vaccinated and things are getting closer to whatever normal is. But you like the idea of the Cowboys on Hard Knocks because, well, why not? You're either going to have Dak signed as the long-term guy ready to lead this team to Super Bowls because he's got his mega contract in place, or he's coming in on the tag and there's going to be some drama. Although with Dak, he'll keep that drama private, but maybe the Hard Knocks cameras could get it. You got Zeke. You got a new defensive coordinator. We're going to have a big old left tackle that we're getting in the draft that's going to be left tackles aren't sexy. Jerry's going to be on Hard Knocks. Then we're probably going to get some high-priced skill position guy. We need another wide receiver, don't we?
Are you kidding me? This is what's going to happen. You can see it already written in the stars. This is perfect. Because not only will Dak not be under contract and be franchised, they're going to draft another quarterback. So we'll have that built into the Hard Knocks and all the things that roll into it. It's going to be perfect because that's what the football goms have gods have deemed necessary for next season. You might not win the game, but you could win the story on Sunday. That's Jerry's theme. Let's do this. It has to happen.
Are you kidding? I mean, the Cowboys. All right, so maybe we bring Dez back because Dez says done with the Ravens, but he wants to play 2 more years. Johnny Manziel is kicking ass in the old man pot smokers league. You know, maybe he becomes the insurance policy because
They're
Andy
not
Dalton.
old.
Huh? Who? Where?
That fan league. They're not old. They're just pot smokers. There's a big difference.
Well, I mean, for football years, they're old. And pot smokers, which ages you, I'm told. But your recovery time is far less. I mean, what other teams out there would you think right now, other than maybe Tampa Bay, where you would want to see Hard Knocks?
I think Tampa would be boring. I think watching that would be dull. There is no other team. I wouldn't mind seeing Buffalo.
Arians. I think Bruce Arians and some of the dudes they have there in Tampa Bay, wherever Deshaun Watson lands, I think that would make for a very entertaining Hard Knocks. Or my goodness, what about the Houston Texans? Although they'll have a first-year head coach, so they're off limits. But you know, just to get a peek inside the dumpster fire, might actually be worth it.
You wouldn't have access. It would be like we saw last year, just antiseptic. It would be just a couple of video highlights of them practicing, and you'd never see much because that's where the Texans are heading. They're taking on that Patriot way in every possible venue, and I can't imagine them ever wanting that. I wouldn't mind seeing Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo is a team on the rise that looks like they're having a good time doing it, so that looks a lot of fun. Maybe Pittsburgh and the transition from Roethlisberger if it's his last run. But none of them compares to the Cowboys and the potential storylines. I mean, just throw the money at Jerry and get it scheduled. Because whether they've got Dak signed or they don't, the storylines write themselves, and there's no better place to be than Oxnard, California, there in early August.
Are we going to Oxnard? Let's hope. And to keep in mind, the rules for Hard Knocks, if you have a first-year head coach or you've been in the playoffs the last 2 years or on the show the last 10 years, you can deny Hard Knocks. Otherwise, they force it upon you. And let's face it, I mean, it would be a lot of fun, I think, to see Jacksonville for the first time I would ever say that. But Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, but since he's a first-year head coach, they could and probably would deny access. Dallas Cowboys, man, it's going to be the Cowboys this year.
And one other thing that I do think is worthy of consideration as they decide is the Cowboys are one of those teams that seem to have handled the protocols very well. You know, there was never an issue with a large group. They never had to, never caused other concerns. So if you're grading teams on how they handle it, and certainly, I don't fault teams that had to deal with it. I can just tell you that the Cowboys didn't have to deal with it as regularly as other teams, and I'm not sure if that was just luck or effort. But either way, that should be rewarded as well. Hey, coming back, let's talk injuries with, let's see, Dr. Josh Bell is going to join us from the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Details have been released regarding Tiger Woods' surgery yesterday. Both legs involved. There's a variety of medical terms that just give you the heebie-jeebies. Let's learn about it coming up next. Dr. Bell will inform us on what was done with Tiger Woods. We're looking forward to a great Spurs game tonight, and there might be a surprise appearance in the slam dunk competition. Have you ever seen a rhino dunk? You might get to see it one more time. Hold on tight. Dr. Bell joins us here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM on the go at ESPN SA. Next. Twin Peaks is open right now. Happy hour is moving. Friday afternoons, you need to head over to Twin Peaks because, as you head into a weekend there, you need to go to a themed celebration. And on Fridays, it is bourbon-focused, brews-focused, and celebration-oriented. 5 to 7 every Friday. And by the way, that's every afternoon. Happy hours are in play. The thing I love about Twin Peaks is, yes, they have the national reach, but this is a local place to hang out with local folks. They take great care in making sure local brews are on the bar, served at that 29-degree temperature. And the bourbons, my goodness, it is curated to the likes likes of which you're not going to find at other places. The very best bourbons served by expert mixologists at every one of the 3 local Twin Peaks. The games are on all around you on all those great big TVs. If you're heading out for lunch, don't forget all the great Lenten specials that are going on all season long. You know that Scratch Kitchen is putting out the finest fish you can have on a Friday afternoon. Happy hour. No one does it like Twin Peaks, whatever your preference. If you're having everything from tequila cocktails to those great bourbons, head over to Twin Peaks for a full stock shelf of spirits and cocktails served over those delicious and perfectly round iced balls. Twin Peaks, the food is spectacular. The drinks are icy cold, but why do you go? It's those scenic views.
Hoops and Hype, The Post Up with Brendan Medina and Jack Thompson, a basketball anthology. The culture from the court to kicks for the discerning fan. The Post Up, Fridays at 7 after the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Are you living in pain? Are you stuck in just dealing with everyday kind of things that just won't let you go? Chronic back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. You know, Airrosti can help. Airrosti providers, well, they are all around San Antonio, and they are passionate experts at relieving those everyday sprains and strains that linger and will not go away. If you suffer from lower back injuries or frozen shoulders or hips, head over to Airrosti as soon as you can and let them take care of it. They offer you a non-invasive procedure that doesn't involve surgery. We're not talking about pain medications, either prescribed or over the counter. We're talking about an experienced and expert professional working with your body to get it fixed the right way. You solve the problem. Amazingly enough, the pain can go away. Whether it's short term, you just pulled a muscle or something that's been nagging you for years, you will be amazed at the outcome when you head over to an Airrosti provider. When you walk in, you know they're going to accept most insurances, and you will never need a referral to go see an Airrosti provider. Here's the number you need. It's 1-800-404-6050. I dial it every time I strain something. I've got lower back issues. Not only do they get me back in the game fast, but they have taught me a variety of ways to lessen the pain or keep myself out of even hurting myself. You can see that at their website. Go to Airrosti.com. Don't let pain keep you from doing things that you love. Call an Airrosti provider. Go check out their website, but get yourself out of pain in a remarkably short amount of time. Call an Airrosti provider today, and I am sure you will happily thank me later.
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now with 4 San Antonio area locations, all open and all practicing strict social distancing guidelines. Come eat, drink, and enjoy safely at all 4 Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar locations. And get over to the newest location, Slackers Medical Center, now opening at 7 a.m. to serve our valued medical community. Nurses, doctors, frontline workers, and staff, we thank you. Slackers Medical Center, located at Fredericksburg and Medical Center, now open at 7 a.m. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
Receive a $5 rebate by trading up any non-contact thermometer toward an Exergen temporal scanner purchased at any retailer. With COVID continuing to spread, nothing matters more than having an accurate thermometer that's backed by more than 80 published peer-reviewed clinical studies, like the Exergen temporal scanner. Even after getting the COVID vaccine, you should be monitoring for fever to make sure you are protected. Keep your family and yourself safe by trading up your non-contact thermometer for an accurate temporal scanner and a $5 rebate from Exergen, where accuracy matters. Details at Exergen.com.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change, like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? You take one more.
Sir.
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
It's time for some straight talk. Your tax return could look different this year, but you're still going to hear a lot of noise about how to spend it. So when the big carriers tell you to splurge on the latest nonsense, just tune it out. With Straight Talk, you can get a Samsung Galaxy A51 for just $199. Plus, get the $45 unlimited talk, text, and data plan with no contract on America's best networks for up to 50% less. Tune out the nonsense and tune into Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
It is the Blitz. Happy Wednesday to you. He's Jason Minnick. I'm Rob Thompson. Tim Byers, Beard Award-winning chef, will join us just after 6 o'clock for our Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rind segment. You're getting the knowledge of experts here at ESPN San Antonio. Now, you get it every day from Jason. Expert. But when you get the likes of a James Beard Award-winning chef or a physician as handsome and as skilled as Dr. Josh Bell from the Sports Institute over at TSAOG Orthopedics, you don't turn that stuff down. That's a red-letter day. And as we looked at what happened to Tiger Woods yesterday, let's get in depth in the repair work that went in on the lower extremities with Tiger. Dr. Bell, welcome aboard, sir. Thanks for stopping by.
He's in the next segment. This segment, we talk
what?
Spurs.
I got a thumbs up.
Yeah. 5:20. We'll talk to Dr. Bell at 5:30.
We better hurry. Hurry.
Let's talk Spurs right now, and the fact that the second half
we're up against
of the schedule.
This is what happens when you work remotely and don't have a clock in front of you.
You doing okay, Rob?
I'm fine now.
I mean, you got a clock on your computer, on your wall, on your arm.
I actually don't.
What? You have the one computer with no clock.
Well, I have the clock, but we're running against it. So let's just move on. Let's talk Spurs.
So the second half of the schedule was announced today, and it's going to suck. You're going to feel like you're always a segment ahead because they've got 40 games in 68 days, including a bunch of back-to-backs, which are going to be it's a brutal schedule coming up when you think about the lack of rest, the amount of back-to-backs that they're going to have, keeping in mind they have yet to win the second game of a back-to-back to this point of the season. They're 0-4 and have looked ugly in all of them. And they've got some long road trips coming up, too. 2 5-gamers and a couple of 4-gamers with, I believe, 23 of the remaining games on the road.
The NBA play-in tournament is going to be interesting. And you know, the goal for most of the teams like the Spurs is just to get there. If you can get there, I think you're feeling pretty comfortable about it. Now, 40 games in 68 days. They have a little bit of playroom, but they don't have much. Now, I appreciate the idea of, planning for the best, but expecting the worst. We're halfway through the season, dude, and there has not been a single team that has not been decimated at one point or another that hadn't missed at least 1 or 2 games. And it is logical to expect this to continue. Do you really believe that the NBA is going to strive against all things to get every possible set of the 72 games in? Or will at some point, if it happens, will they start falling back on, winning percentages and conference win records? Because as we look at the schedule, that does come into play with the Spurs.
Well, I do think that Adam Silver has proven that he's going to come hell or high water, do what they can to get a full schedule in. Keeping in mind that they didn't go 82. They've already reduced the schedule to this year. The fact that he's forced a all-star game when originally saying there would be no all-star game tells me the importance of making sure you fulfill the TV contract. So whatever number of games, and I don't know if he built any kind of cushion, but then you also have your local TV deals. I mean, what does the Spurs contract say with Fox Sports Southwest on the number of games that they have to get in? I can't believe that the number of G League games that they're trying to get on are going to help pad games that aren't going to miss and make Fox Sports Southwest and their sponsors happy, like an HB or Frost Bank. While understanding it ain't the same, and those things are on at 10 a.m. We're sports people and don't remember or think about putting those games on.
True.
And somebody like you who still with the Dish Network people that just refuse to work out a deal with Fox Sports Southwest, even if you wanted to watch the game, you can't. So I think they will do what they can, the NBA will, to fulfill those TV contracts, those broadcast contracts. And if that means adding in some more back-to-backs for makeup games, maybe even extending the season a little bit before the start of the playoffs. But isn't that also one of the reasons why we have the quote-unquote play-in tournament? So if there are, if it's 1 or 2 games, they might let it slide. But, Spurs have to make up 5. They're going to do everything they can to get those 5 made in. plus whatever additional games might have to get postponed because either COVID with the Spurs or COVID with their opponents. You know, you look at the Lakers, they haven't missed one yet because of COVID. It's coming. I mean, the odds tell me that the Lakers are going to go through a COVID break just like the Spurs are going through right now. We're just wrapping up with their game tonight.
Truth. I think that every effort's going to be made, but if they're going to power through and try to play the games that the Spurs are going to be forced to play, and not every team has as tough a schedule, as you just said, the Lakers, do we have the right to complain about load management or even talk about it from here on out? Would it even concern you? And if that's the case, then how important is the regular season anyway to most of these teams? We saw Paul George not even finish a game out that he probably would have helped win. Instead, Ty Lue chose to lose the game and rest him for a couple of minutes.
Normal time, I hate load management. With what everything is going through, what I saw with Paul George pisses me off. Dude, you either play the game and you're there for the game, or you take the entire game off. This isn't a situation where, you know, with no fans in the stands, it's not like, oh man, look, you know, my favorite player that I paid money to see is sitting out. And it's a load management game and you feel ripped off. You know, the NBA and hell, it started with the Spurs turning regular season games into exhibitions a long time ago. And I've never been a fan of it, but I certainly understand. You know, when you watch LeBron James just look tired on the court, and you could see in his shot that it's tired, that's when you go, okay, man, you need a break. You know, they're trying to squeeze too many games in too short amount of window. And when I look at 40 over 68 days, and then you factor in the travel, and I don't care that they're flying charter, private. You're going up, you're going down, you're getting to your hotel at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It takes it out of you. It does. So I'm a little bit more lenient this year, I think, on my normal anti-load management stance, just because it's obvious and it's understanding. You have to do it.
25 games of the 40 that are left are against the East. While there's a lot of them, they're not all that difficult. This could be an opportunity for the Spurs, who have young legs. You certainly expect them to fare better than a lot of the teams out there because, one, while the goal is to be playing on into July, the fact of the matter is I don't think the Spurs are trying to parse their effort to, you know, get all the way then. It'll be a win now kind of thing. And I think there's games to be had that I'm not sure would have ordinarily be had when the Spurs are on the road on a Tuesday night against a middling or a good Eastern Conference team. You might see some rest minutes offered for the Spurs to kind of capitalize on. It's already happened to the Spurs. I see no reason why it won't continue to happen to play teams that are going to rest them against us just because, you know, it's the Spurs. What's the worry?
Well, and again, I look at the Spurs. They're undefeated against the East. They got a lot of games coming against the East. They got a lot of road games. They're 9-3 on the road, yet they're 7-8 at home. Home court doesn't matter, though, during this COVID year, but there's something about sleeping in a hotel as opposed to home that seems to be working for this Spurs team. Although after 6 or 7 days in Charlotte, maybe they don't want to see a hotel anytime soon, although they woke up this morning in Oklahoma City sleeping in that nice hotel right there by that arena. But you just look at it and you sit there and say, they're in 5th place and haven't played in 10 days. You know, the time off has not affected them in the standings, which I find mind-boggling. But they're still, what, about three games or so from Phoenix in the Lakers. Utah is just been incredible this year. So when you start thinking playoffs, and I didn't think this was a playoff team, now you start thinking not only are the Spurs looking like a playoff team, but they look like a team that could get the 4th spot and home court in the first round. I mean, you look at this schedule outside of the number of games in the number of days, which you wonder how many games they're just going to punt for rest. But you look at their schedule right now and factor in and assume that the Lakers and the likes will go through some sort of a COVID break. The Spurs legitimately could be looking at a 4 seed. And we'll see how the Spurs approach the second half of the season on how much they want to be that level of a playoff team this year.
They sit just 3.5 games back from the Suns, who are sit at 20-11. That's good news. But we are seeing a separation. Those first 4 are pulling away, and the rest that I guess you take it down to 10 that are looking at least a play-in tournament opportunity are going to shuffle by the week. It'll just be who's standing there at the 4th or 5th spot or 6th spot there at the end of the season to see who gets the opportunity not to have to play in. Let's talk injuries with Dr. Josh Bell. Let's do it this time. I jumped the gun. I was excited, but Dr. Bell will join us next. We're going to look at the surgery that Tiger Woods endured yesterday. The story of reparation, it's interesting, in the long-term recovery prospects for Tiger Woods. Dr. Bell joins us as we look at metal rods and screws and a variety of different medical terms that give me the heebie-jeebies. Zion might be in the slam dunk competition. We'll look forward to the NBA as well and talk NFL. But next, Dr. Josh Bell joins us here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a friend of yours in jail calls you and needs help getting out, maybe it's a family member that you get the call from, or it's you. You want to get out of jail fast? The best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121 is the phone number, or go to the website, mybestbailbonds.com. You can even start the bonding process there online. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 to get you out fast. Offices all over San Antonio and Texas, up in Dallas, down in Corpus, in the Valley, anywhere in between your Marble Falls. They'll get you taken care of. They have services nationwide. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. 225-2121 or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
You follow your friends on Facebook and Twitter, so shouldn't you follow us? After all, I thought we were friends, aren't we? Never get left out. Follow us on Facebook at ESPN San Antonio, Twitter at ESPN_SA, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it going to work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
As we all try and get back to normal after the devastating winter storm, Diamonds Direct is warming things up with some good news. We're extending our special finance offer one more week. Now through this Sunday, you can get 5 years zero-interest financing on anything and everything. That means you can get a $10,000 engagement ring and pay just $167 a month. In the wake of the unprecedented winter storm, we realize your life was put on hold, so we're giving you this additional time to pick up where you left off. You can use this extended opportunity to get that post-Valentine's gift, prepare for your spring proposal, or just use it as an excuse to splurge for any upcoming occasion. Everything's included at any price point. Engagement rings, fashion rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry, and exquisite designer jewelry. At Diamonds Direct, we believe it's more important than ever to show your special someone how much you love them. So now through this Sunday at 5 p.m., you can pick any item at Diamonds Direct, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with zero interest. Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roof Hub and Angry Elephant. Football sadly is over, but spring is around the corner and our silver and black look ready for a playoff run. If you can't watch the game at home, we have your solution with ice cold beer, great food, and giant screens at the Roof Hub. If the wife or husband, for that matter, prefers cocktails and girl talk instead of the game, drop them off next door at the newly remodeled Angry Elephant for great wine and appetizers. 2 bars, 1 location, 0 regrets. See you soon at 281 in Redland Road at the Roof Hub and Angry Elephant.
Here's the good news. Even with high unemployment, there's still a need for hundreds of thousands of cybersecurity professionals in the U.S. right now. And My Computer Career is training people to help meet the demand. No IT experience? No problem. Take the free career evaluation today at mycomputercareer.edu. Start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. Grants covering up to 53% of the cost are available to those who qualify. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
O'Reilly. Trust the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car, like 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard filter, just $26.99. Extend the life of your vehicle and improve performance with a synthetic oil change. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let's get wild.
Hey, can we talk to the doc? Is it time yet? It is the Blitz here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. On the go at ESPNSA.com. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Let's look at the injury in depth. You know, we welcome aboard the physicians over at the Sports Institute at TSAOG and look at what's going on. Very rarely you get just about live color commentary on surgery. We've invited Dr. Josh Bell to join us as we look at what Tiger endured yesterday. Dr. Bell, welcome aboard. You know, when we see injuries like this, is the first thing that you think about, is this like a war wound? It looks like, you know, we're talking about crushed bones and open wounds. This is not your typical orthopedic afternoon type of surgery, is it?
Yeah, this is definitely way higher level injury and trauma than any on the field injury. And we've seen some bad ones in the last couple of years from Alex Smith and Dak this year and lots of different injuries. But this is definitely the next level, several levels up from that in terms of the amount of energy that goes into the bones and muscles and everything. So yeah, this is big time. And you know, probably the best news is that the biggest thing they're talking about is his leg, because these are the type of injuries that people have major head injuries, internal organ injuries, all those other things. And it doesn't sound like he sustained that, or at least they haven't reported on that yet. So that's great news from the injury.
And again, if it's just his legs, yes. I mean, his surgically repaired back, we haven't heard anything about. Any kind of head injury or other trauma, we haven't heard about as of yet. But taking care of the broken legs and the fractures, the way it sounds. Now, I know they talked about putting in rods, pins, and screws. I know the rod. I understand the screw. What's the screws and pins? What's the difference and why? Or is it just where they're going?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I mean, from what they kind of gave a generalized statement of what happened. What I think, at least from what I can gather from the reports and what was said from the UCLA Harborview kind of CEO that came out and made that statement, basically, you know, the tibia, the leg bone, that's the one that was broken into multiple pieces, a la Joe Theismann, a la Alex Smith, and that got a rod in it. Okay, so just a rod right down the middle of it, that stabilizes that one. And then down in the bottom of his ankle and his foot, you know, they put plates and screws. The pins thing, sometimes what we do is the swelling is so bad in the extremity that we can't fix everything right away. So we put what's called an external fixator on. We put pins in there to hold it out, and we're going to come back later. Because based on the report that I saw, this is not his last surgery by any stretch, because he had a condition where the compartment or where the muscle is in the leg was too tight from the trauma, and they had to open it up to allow so that too much swelling wouldn't cut off the blood supply, basically, and kill the muscle or kill the nerves. So that means he's got an open wound. He's going to have to come back to surgery. So sometimes when we do that, we say, hey, we don't have to fix everything right now. We're going to just stabilize it so that it doesn't, you know, move while he's recovering. And then we know we're going to have to come back, and we can take those pins out and finish it with plates and screws. That's what I think. But I'm guessing on what they said.
Dr. Josh Bell joining us here on the Blitz, looking at Tiger Woods' surgery yesterday. Dr. Bell is with the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics, a good partner with us here on the show. When the surgeries were described, and there's a couple of terms that were used that, quite frankly, the layman, we won't know. And it sounded like one of them was almost as bad as the injury itself. Explain to me, again, when there's swelling and you have to go in and release the pressure, what is that procedure? It sounds like that's kind of scary and kind of long-term to heal from on its own.
No doubt about it. It is, we call that a fasciotomy. Okay. So fascia is just the tough compartment that basically holds your muscles in, and you have 4 compartments in your leg, in your lower leg. And so, basically what happens in an injury with this much trauma is the swelling that happens in there becomes too great for the blood supply to keep going in. The blood pressure is pushing the blood into that muscle and to keep it alive and everything else. And that pressure in that area, in that enclosed space, it's kind of got this fascia. The way I describe it to patients is if you do ribs and you pull off the fascia, that tough layer on the rib, right, that's a fascia. That tough layer, that is what, if it's not released, it'll cause too much pressure, and the muscle can die, the nerves can die. So what we do in that case is we make an incision on the outside of the skin and then into that fascia to allow it to expand. And it will expand. Like, you could not close it right away afterwards. You have to come back later and wash it out again, and sometimes, slowly close it, or sometimes they get a skin graft because it's literally, exploding open because of the pressure underneath it.
I'm curious, as we visit with Dr. Josh Bell here from the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. You guys see stuff like this daily. Car wrecks happen all the time. Emergency surgeries happen all the time. But when you get somebody like a Tiger Woods, who's going where the ambulance is going, and whoever the surgeon is that's there today, man, you get to operate on Tiger freaking Woods. At what point do the team of doctors that Tiger already has come in and take over?
Well, I'll tell you, in a situation like this, it is not likely that the doctors that treat him for his back, because those are spine specialists that do those kind of things all the time. The place where he went, Harborview, a place that does trauma surgery like this, because it's really a trauma team that's involved. And so these are the experts in this. We do surgeries like this where we have to put a rod in the tibia. We have to do all those different things. But to have a surgery where it's not just that we're worried about his tibia, we're worried about the fact that he may have an internal injury that we can't tell yet. So like in certain systems, medical systems, there's a place where people will go for trauma. And if you get in a rollover car accident going 60 miles an hour or greater, you're going to go to that trauma center, not just because the injury can be more severe, but also because all the other things that could happen. You could have a head injury that we didn't appreciate right away. You could have a neck injury, an internal injury. So we see those all the time. And these other doctors that he's had that have scoped his knee before, they're great, and they do a lot of those things like that. But at a trauma center like that, that's what they do all the time, is take care of these high velocity trauma injuries. This is one of those ones that is outside the on the field play. This is outside of that. So those initial surgeries are in the first day or two that are done like this are done by the people that do that all the time. And I'm sure his specialists have a lot of experience, but they don't do it all day, every day. They would come in and talk and offer their opinion, but they're not the guys that are doing that type of surgery all the time. And the guys at Harborview, I guarantee, are doing that or at the place at UCLA are doing that all the time.
And again, and I'm not sure even why this is even important to me, but I can imagine, this guy's in California doing an event. He lives in Florida. His family, his kids are in Florida.
Yep.
How long before he could transfer to a hospital in Florida to continue his care, just to make it easier on everybody in his family?
Yeah. Again, it's really, so he's just like, I remember when this happened, this not to this level of trauma, but this happened to Alex Smith, the open tibia fracture. That's one of the things that he had. So he's going to have a second surgery at least. And so if you remember, Alex Smith, they had to go back multiple times to wash him out. And there are lots of issues that can happen with that. So I can't imagine that they're going to transfer him in the first couple of weeks by any stretch. And then you'd have to make sure that the place that you're going is ready to, understands all the injuries that you have and is ready to take that on. I think that, if he has a team that he's comfortable with, that his other doctors are comfortable with, that can treat him right there in LA, they'll stay there as long as they need to. But I can't imagine the first, week or so that he could do much else, because based on what I've heard, he's going to need at least a second, if not a third and fourth surgery within the first week or two, I would imagine, based on what they've said.
Dr. Josh Bell joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Tiger Woods went through hours of surgery yesterday to repair a shattered ankle. There was rods in place there in the tibia and all that. When you hear that they're having to play, what's it called with a bonus smash, a communement or whatever that
comminuted is what the term they use. Smash. And that basically all that means is that
which means foobar, right?
In more than two places, right? I mean, so it makes if you got a stick and you just broke it once, you broke it. You just have a snap of the stick. If it's broken into multiple pieces, so there's a piece that, there's one piece, there's at least three pieces on this. So there may be, 50 pieces, but there's at least three. When we say comminuted, we mean multiple pieces. And that's what happened to his tibia in this, at least from the description.
Now with the shattering and the breaking of the skin, now the concern I'm sure lies with, an infection. You brought up Alex Smith. When are we going to feel comfortable that if he's not currently dealing with a MRSA or the likes of something like that, when do you feel comfortable that they're out of the woods, that won't be a problem?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, like I said, they're going to go back based on what they've said at least a couple more times, I would imagine, in this first week, because of those open wounds, because they had to open them for that compartment syndrome where they open the fascia. And then sometimes based on how contaminated we think the wound is. So, for example, if you did this in the field and you got dirt in it, then that's worse than if he's in the car and nothing else got in there, grossly contaminated the wound, then we feel a little more comfortable that we don't have to wash him out as much, and we won't have to, be cautious of that infection. But I would say it's at least a couple weeks that we watch it, and it's longer than that they really have to kind of keep an eye on it. But I would say the first week or two, we'll kind of have a good idea if we've got any kind of infection out of there and good control of what we've got. But unfortunately, it's not the last surgery, that's for sure.
It certainly isn't. But fortunately, he is alive. When you see the car and you hear that it rolled 700 feet, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that's a fatal accident. The fact that he is alive today is a miracle, right? But the technology and safety features in a car, but with all the other infections and everything that are possible, and going back to hearing how close Alex Smith was to dying from his injuries, at what point do you say Tiger Woods is out of the woods and just on the road to a long recovery?
Yeah, again, the thing is that it's hard to know with what they described exactly the injury that he has. One of the descriptions I saw, he broke his tibia or the leg bone. He also hurt his ankle and his foot. Okay, so sometimes the foot can get so swollen that's when they describe those pins, I'm imagining that you use pins to stabilize with an idea to come back later. So that may be 3 weeks later when we allow the swelling to go down, make sure there is an infection. And imagine if he broke his heel bone, for example, which can happen in these kind of, and so if you break your heel bone, we don't very often fix them in the first week or so. We wait until the soft tissue swelling has gone down enough and things like that. So that's, those are the types of things that we really don't know yet, but based on the amount of energy in his leg that went through his leg, plus the fact that he's already had one surgery. They talked about the ankle and the foot. I can't imagine that there's something else that they're not going to have to reconstruct even potentially 3-4 weeks later. So it's a long road to be quote unquote out of the woods for him. And we'll know more, as weeks come, but it's a long road. Like you said, best news is he's still with us. Cause when I heard the LA story and I was thinking Kobe Bryant, I was thinking, holy cow, there's something going on bad over there in LA. If you're an athlete, don't be traveling in LA.
Well, it's crazy. We're talking about all these bones and the weird bone fractures, and your stick analogy was fantastic. So, what are the likelihood that his, ACL, MCL, Achilles, and all those are still intact, or do they all get shredded in an accident trauma like that?
It's hard to say. Again, some of these things, unfortunately, we're looking at this. If this patient rolls in there, we're looking at his leg. We know that needs to be addressed right now. So you can't even tell what's happened to the knee initially because you can't examine it because the leg is so, it has so much trauma to it. So, but what I would say is most likely just based on seeing this type of injury, that where the energy in this accident happened was in his leg and his ankle. So I don't think the energy went through his knee. If it had gone through his knee primarily, I think we would have seen the injury there, possibly a knee dislocation, possibly a fracture closer to the knee. So we don't know for sure, but I feel like just based on what we've been hearing, it's not as likely to have a major injury to his knee based on what, has happened to the rest of the leg. But again, we're just speculating right now, really.
Dr. Josh Bell of the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Before we let you go, best case scenario in a man of his age and certainly his physical strength and, having gone through rehabs many times in the past, what would you tell him to expect to return to a semblance of a normal life? How long do you think it'll be?
Yeah, it's going to be months and months because again, we think about the bones healing. If you think about just the tibia fracture, or I'm just guessing maybe he has a heel bone fracture. If we fix those, and again, I told you if he had a heel bone fracture, it'd be probably 3-4 weeks before they actually do the surgery on that. And then before he could put full weight on just the bone, that would likely to be 3 or 4 months before the bone is ready. And then you've got, the amount of energy that went through that bone went through the soft tissue, meaning the muscles and the tendons and all that. So then and they won't have work for those 3 or 4 months. So they got all that time to go back. So I would say, walking normally, just making a guess now is 6 to 9 months. Honestly, it's a long road based on what he's got.
Dr. Josh Bell here on ESPN San Antonio. Thanks for all the knowledge, man. We've learned a lot. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Dr. Josh Bell of the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics, certainly experienced there in working with those kinds of injuries. Hey, coming back, while the players might not be happy about the All-Star game, the dunk contest might be looking up. Could this be the best we've seen in years with a surprise new contestant? We'll talk about it next here on the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
If you're going to fire up the grill, you got a brand new Traeger you want to break in, you need to get the best meat, and that's over at Tri-County Meat Market. Locally owned, full service. Their 2 locations have carefully selected certified prime Angus beef cuts, the Wagyu, upper choice, everything you need to up your grilling game: beef, chicken, pork, fajitas, poppers. They got so much over there, Rob, so much to choose from for you to break in your new Traeger.
Oh, my goodness. If you got a brand new grill and you're going to baptize it, do it the right way. Get the very best possible meats because that's what you want, right? You head over to Tri-County Meat Market. You're already going to get the very best meats available, but you're going to get the kind of advice for those of us that might be using a brand new grill, how to cook, what to cook, and, all the things that go along with it. And the great thing about Tri-County, they've got all the meats you want, from your pork and your chicken and the prepared and all of that. The 5 for $25 is available to you. Check out their frozen section. Check out their fresh vegetable section and everything else that goes in both of those Tri-County stores. They're open for you. The advice comes along free, and the meat is spectacular. If you're a first responder, of course you're going to get 10% off at either one of the great locations. Head over to Huebner Road. Head out to Ralph Fair Road. When you grill, take a picture, put it up on our website at ESPNSA.com, and you too could walk in to Tri-County Meat Market with a $50 gift card. Go check out their website, TriCountyMeat.com.
Game nights, the Blitz goes silver and black.
This is DeJounte Murray. It's Game Night San Antonio.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom. 30 minutes before every game night on the Blitz.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
You know, we were just talking with Dr. Josh Bell, and you know, if you are dealing with any kind of injuries, you heard the expertise that you get from Dr. Bell, from all the doctors there at the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. If you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need to get into the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. From a minor sprain to a compound fracture and everything in between, they've got you covered. Now, not all injuries require surgery. Dr. David Espinosa treats all non-operative orthopedic injuries. He also does concussion baseline testing. They have telemedicine services available through OrthoConnect. You know, there's no reason to be in pain. If you're hurting, visit the Sports Institute at TSAOG Orthopedics. Online, TSAOG.com.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
When it comes to social distancing, if 6 feet is not enough with your spouse, it's probably time to change your status. Call the Divorce Dude with Polling Law PLLC. The Divorce Dude will help you get a fast, affordable, agreed divorce. But if you want to fight, the Divorce Dude will fight for you. DivorceDude.com gives you easy legal options and sticks with you every step of the way. Call George, the Divorce Dude, 210-201-0303. That's 210-201-0303 or DivorceDude.com.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Okay, so did you see that game the other day? The refs, right? I mean, come on. They were totally out to get us. That always happens to our team. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you replace those wipers. If yours are squeaking or streaking, it's probably time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model. We've even got more ways to get them fast, like our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It is the Blitz. In about 7 minutes, a Beard Award-winning chef is going to come onto our airwaves. You know how difficult it is. It's like having a Heisman Trophy winner show up. There aren't a whole lot of them. Tim Byers is going to join us on the Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds cooking segment. We're making something spectacular with a world-renowned chef. You want to stay where you are. It's going to get good. And if you can find a device, go to ESPNSA.com. Go to your Facebooks, wherever you might be. Coming up next, we're cooking with a world-class chef here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, on the go at ESPNSA.com. Hang with us. I want you to go there. But before we get out of here, there's a possibility that Zion might show up at the slam dunk competition. He's already going to be there for the All-Star game. You throw him in there with Ja Morant, we might have the likes of a slam dunk competition like we saw a couple years back with Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. It could be spectacular, Jason. This is one more reason to get excited about the All-Star game here in just a couple of weeks, because this could be epic.
Well, I've seen Anthony Edwards listed a handful of stars. It's a halftime of the game. Make it a show. Make us watch.
It'll be awesome. Let's do some cooking. Tim Byers joins us next here on the Blitz.
Looking for the latest on the WWE and wrestling news? Well, we've got just the thing for you.
What the Rock is cooking.
Down for the Count with Brandon Medina and Dan Ciolano. Every week, breaking down the latest from SmackDown, Raw, the big events such as WrestleMania, and everything in between. Down for the Count. Every week in the ESPN San Antonio audio vault at ESPNSA.com.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
O'Reilly. Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, get up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power and capacity your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are designed for lasting performance and consistent starts. Turn the key with confidence with Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
And happy hour is back at Twin Peaks. Get up here Monday through Friday from 2 to 7 and score sweet deals like $1 off all wine, liquor, cheap shots, and freezing cold 29-degree draft brews. Feeling snacky? We also have select apps available for $2, $4, and $6. Cheers!
Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar, now with 4 San Antonio area locations, all open and all practicing strict social distancing guidelines. Come eat, drink, and enjoy safely at all 4 Slackers Sports and Arcade Bar locations. And get over to the newest location, Slackers Medical Center, now opening at 7 a.m. to serve our valued medical community. Nurses, doctors, frontline workers, and staff, we thank you. Slackers Medical Center, located at Fredericksburg and Medical Center, now open at 7 a.m. Visit slackersbarssa.com for more info.
There are so many razors out there. How do you choose which one's right for you? Well, at Dollar Shave Club, we got you. With a 6-blade cartridge for daily shavers with short hair and a 4-blade cartridge for less frequent shavers with longer hair. Still confused? Well, we put both blades in one new starter box, so you can test drive both. Check out dollarshaveclub.com/ESPN, dollarshaveclub.com/ESPN, and visit DSE at your nearest store. You've got questions, we got answers. Welcome to the club.
Now at a store near you.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, banking with Capital One is like the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like Taylor Swift choosing what to wear.
It's looking kind of chilly out today. I think I'll go with a cardigan.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can bank anytime, anywhere, making Capital One an even easier decision. That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
New consumer accounts only. Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One NA member FDIC.
Hi, this is Zach Martin.
For everything Cowboys.
Lock the door! San Antonio sports leader, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, and 94.5 FM.
Where the pros play. KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minutes. Rob Thompson. The Blitz.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. If you're on the go, we recommend ESPNSA.com because if you go there, you can watch us live. He is Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. It is time for our weekly cooking segment with the Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. We are joined by a Beard Award-winning chef, Mr. Tim Byers. Welcome aboard, Tim. Glad to have you back. Let's do some cooking. How's your day going?
Hey, how are you? I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing well. We're thawing out down here in San Antonio. I trust you're doing the same up there in Dallas.
Yeah, it was a rough week for sure.
Well, as we head into what looks like a much better weekend to get out and do some cooking, let's talk about what we do here on Wednesday afternoon. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, certainly on its own, the best pork rind you can go buy when you head over to HEB. But we have found over the last year, Tim, through recipes that you've supplied to Mark Singleton over at Southern Recipe, that you can use pork rinds and what they offer you in a variety of different ways that aren't necessarily involving just eating a delicious delicious, crunchy piece of pork rind. You can repurpose it in the best possible way. And this week, we're going to do a trio of things to prepare for a fine afternoon of sports viewing. You got the Masters just around the corner. You got the tournament coming around, and you got gathering people together. Let's do some cooking with pork rinds. First of all, let's talk some cheese balls.
All right, man. So we put together a platter here where it's going to be sort of like your, anytime entertaining, wanting to have fun and, keep it low carb as possible and go for it. So this thing's got some pork rind pecan and jalapeno kind of crusty cheese balls, and pretty easy. This is something you could make ahead, and it just takes some cream cheese. It's about one package, 2 cups of sharp cheddar shredded, quarter teaspoon of garlic powder, another quarter teaspoon of onion powder. And I've got a minced jalapeno. Recipe calls for half. You can go for a whole one. And the spice thing there is just kind of keep the seeds out of the mix unless you want it super spicy. A little bit of salt, and then a crushed half a cup of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds and breadcrumbs. And you mix all the cheese together with the seasonings, ball it up with a small little sort of bite-sized pop thing, and then roll it around in the crushed nuts and pork rind crumbles. And that's a great little, kind of grab-it-go, awesome, tasty, sort of loaded-up little cheese and pork rindy bite.
Sounds fantastic. And again, you're going to give a couple of these, but the fact that you're using the pork rinds, that falls right in with the keto diet, so you don't feel guilty about eating 40 of them.
Yeah, there you go. And
the motivation for Tim, I'm curious about the pecans. Where did that come from? Was that just to add a little bit of another flavor profile to kind of add something to the crunch? Because I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah, it's nice little, extra crunch and texture. It also helps to sort of hold the pork rinds on the cheese. It's that kind of like pig and cheddar-y sort of thing is always a good match. And I think pecans are awesome in Texas, so jalapeno pecans, cheddar, and pork rind seems to be a match for me.
Well, those sound fantastic. And also on the platter that you got, again, this is for the all-day grazing kind of thing, whether, the big game is behind us, but you got the tournament coming up Thursday and Friday. You're going to be sitting there just grazing all day. Tell us about the game day dusted pigskins.
All right. So this was just an idea to sort of step up your pork rind and have even more fun with it. So this is like, you pick your bag of rinds. I chose the smoked sea salt one. Got a little bit of melted butter, about 2 tablespoons, which is like you could heat that up even in the microwave. We got a pouch of ranch seasoning. So again, we're thinking sort of like loaded sort of baked potato deal, but with pork skins, some red pepper flakes, some crushed black pepper, some dried chives, and then pecorino romano cheese. And so the idea here is to sort of bake this like dry Parmesan-y sort of cheese onto the rind so it's like crispy and crunchy, even more so than they already are, and then just packed full of like zesty flavors. And you roll it around, you pop it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 4 minutes just to melt that cheese on there, and then they're like cheese and spice crusted pork rinds to dip into the next cheesy awesome thing that we'll have on the platter.
This is ridiculous. I have to make this. It almost seems illegal. Would you recommend a dipping sauce with this? Because this is pretty loaded. It's on its own. This looks fantastic.
Well, they're awesome on your own. You can even take these things and toss them into salads and stuff like a crouton if you wanted. But on the platter, I did put a dip there. And I went with, we were talking last time I was on the show, I talked about beer cheese fondue, and it kind of lit you up. So I thought that would be a fun thing to throw into the conversation today. This is great too for dipping vegetables and things outside of your sort of cheese and pork rind kind of thing. But this is pretty simple. It's 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, and you just sort of let that kind of cook a little bit in the pan. And you pour in one of your favorite beers, and then a little bit of milk, again, garlic and onion powder, salt. I chose 3 cheeses, which in the recipe says a white cheddar, a mozzarella, and a Gruyere. But you can put whatever you want in there. It's about a cup of each. And once that milk and beer mixture is thickened by the butter and flour, you fold that cheese in there, and it's just this super awesome really cheesy. The beer gives it that like, you know, rich kind of, you know, maltiness, I guess. And it just, to me, seems very like glued to the television sort of.
Would it be poor taste, Tim, to drink that with a straw? Would that be wrong if I just shoved a big straw? In all seriousness, I want to talk some fancy cooking terms. How close to your beer cheese is this to like just your run of the mill, you know, standard everyday beard award winning bechamel?
Well, you know, okay, so a bechamel is thickened cream or thickened milk with flour and roux. So that's the start of it. So a Mornay would be a cheese sauce version of that. And then we just kind of like Texas it up with some beer. You know, it's kind of like German stuff too. You see people dipping pretzels and things into something like this. But so that's kind of where that idea came from.
Gruyere cheese also.
Yeah,
explain why Gruyere is so perfect for this.
Yeah, it has kind of like a stinkiness to it, you know. And then you could, you know, have the cheddar and the mozzarella. But if you're at home and you just have a bag of shredded cheddar cheese, that works too.
It sounds fantastic, and
it's
crazy.
The extra kick that's awesome with the beer.
Well, and again, I think about, you know, Tim, you're a beard award-winning chef. I think about everything you do is stuff that it's like painting like Picasso, but you make it to where this is simple, where I could do it, where Rob could do it, where our good friend Mark Singleton could do it. But I want to go back to the game day dusted pigskins because Tim, they sound fantastic, but you said put them into the oven. Now, our good friend Rob had delivered today a brand new Traeger. So he's about to join the Traeger hood. I'm curious because if you put it in the smoke, it's going to be better. And I realize at that point, you know, you got to get into your pellets and what flavor of pellets you're going with. But is this something that Rob can now do on his Traeger?
You know, I think you probably could. I need to try it on a Traeger, and that would be awesome. But, you know, if you could get, I know that those things are killer at holding temperature perfectly. So, I mean, get it to 400 and just give it a whirl. I mean, the bigger thing is to sort of watch humidity, I think, with trying to get something crispy. But I can't see why smoke wouldn't help anything.
I am in complete agreement. Tim Byers joining us here on ESPN San Antonio. Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds, the finest pork rind you're ever going to put down your gullet. You can find them over at HEB, and the way they can be repurposed on a regular basis just continues to amaze. And when you have a chef the likes of Tim offering this, you can go to porkrindrecipes.com right now and see a list of all that we just discussed. What a great way to put together an interesting kind of menu for a full day of munching, pork rinds being at the center. But I'll tell you what, when you combine all the other ingredients, it is absolutely perfect. Tim, it is always a pleasure catching up with you. How did you spend last week? A guy who is very comfortable over smoke and fire, did you do anything special as you were frozen into your home?
No, you know, I just tried to keep it together. I think what I did special was trying to crack the ice on my pool.
You needed to flush the toilets.
Yeah, but it was like, you know, we were lucky enough not to lose water or power. We had a little bit of a power outage, but the freeze was nuts. And, you know, it was everything you could do to try to keep your pipes from blowing. And I think we were one of the luckier families. But that was something else.
It was a crazy week. We're glad you could join us this week. Go to Southern Recipe, porkrindrecipes.com, Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds. Tim Byers joining us, the likes of which, man, you just don't get this very often. Tim, thanks for stopping by. It's always a pleasure talking to an expert.
Well, thanks, Rob. Thanks, Jason. You guys are
Appreciate
awesome.
you, man.
Go to HEB, check out get all your Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds right there. Go to porkrindrecipes.com for a list of all that we just did. We'll have pictures up on the website post haste. Hey, coming back, we are looking at the Cowboys. We might get to see a whole bunch of them come August. Hard Knocks is looking for their next contestant, and it looks like we might get 17 regular season games. Let's talk Cowboys, Dak and his contract, and them on Hard Knocks. Coming up next here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
Jason Minix here for newbrakes.com, nubrakes.com. They're a mobile brake shop, which means they will come to you to fix your brakes. Whether you're at work, whether you're at home, New Brakes will come to you and repair your brakes without interrupting your life. We all like things to be easy and convenient, and New Brakes has certainly done that with brake repair, and they only fix brakes. New Brakes provides convenient and affordable brake repairs without the normal upsells you're going to get at a traditional shop once your car is up on the lift. Most repairs are done in less than an hour, and they only use premium brake parts, and they back all their repairs with a 24-month, 24,000-mile warranty. Go read all the 5-star reviews. If your brakes are squeaky or grinding, or last week in the ice you realized, I might need to get my brakes looked at, don't waste time. Schedule your repair now at nubrakes.com. Save 10% when you mention my name or ESPN San Antonio. Newbrakes.com. That's nubrakes.com.
Show us your meat.
On the grill.
Take a picture and upload it to ESPNSA.com, and you could win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market if you do. Grilling with the Blitz every Thursday.
You know, if you're dealing with any plumbing issues from last week or just the normal plumbing issues that arise, you need to know about Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. No better company to call when you're dealing with a plumbing issue. 210-651-5899 is the number. They say they're experts at worst case scenarios, and they are. I know firsthand at my old house, they were there seemingly far too often with a variety of issues that I had at that house, and they took care of everything perfectly. Never had to fix the same thing twice. Fantastic company. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. No commission. Sales reps, they'll provide estimates and second opinions. They've got an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau, and they are green certified. You're having plumbing issues, no other company that I could recommend higher than Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
Looking for a protein-packed snack to power you through the day? Of course you are. Only Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds have the bold flavors that stand out in the Me Too snack aisle. Sea salt and cracked black pepper, pineapple ancho chili, pasilla chili cheese, and more. Take your snacking to higher flavor levels with Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds. And keto fans, you're going to love this low-carb crunch. Visit your local H-E-B and southernrecipesmallbatch.com to see the power of the rind.
Hey folks, Bob at Barbecue Outfitters, and it's time for our Spring into Spring sale now through Saturday, March the 6th. Barbecue Outfitters is your Central Texas homegrown barbecue grill store in Texas for 23 years running. Barbecue Outfitters is cooking up great deals on all our classic products, including Weber grills, the Big Green Egg, the Kamado Joe, Traeger pellet smokers, and all our outdoor kitchen products. All qualifying grills get instant double in-store rebates with savings of $40 to over $800. Barbecue Outfitters has free assembly and free in-home service for 1 year. Plus, Barbecue Outfitters is clearancing our gas logs and fire pits with savings of up to 40%. A great time to get your grill, smoker, outdoor kitchen, gas logs, or fire pit. Barbecue Outfitters on 1604 at Chavano Park next to the Ridge Shopping Center and at bbqoutfitters.com. Come check out our Spring into Spring sale now through March 6th and get ready to grill or smoke like a pro. Come and see us.
Mother's Window Tint sells Alpine car stereo. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, is the nation's newest Alpine dealer. To celebrate, we're saving you money on everything we sell. Car stereos, speakers, subwoofers, amplifiers, car alarms, remote start alarms, ceramic window tint, GPS tracking, all on sale. You're gonna save. Stores in Austin and San Antonio since 1984. Mother's Window Tint. Sales, service, installation. Thousands of adapter kits in stock. Great low prices. Like us on Facebook and send us a message. Mother's Window Tint sells Alpine car stereo. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Liberty.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
As a minimalist, paying less for insurance is more.
Nice place. Is your house a bubble?
It's a dome. I find corners unnecessary.
At Liberty Mutual, that's how we feel about overpaying for insurance.
But I do miss having shelves.
What would you put on them?
Nothing, obviously.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Switch to T-Mobile for Business and get up to 90 days of service free via virtual rebate on your business plan. You get a great deal, the largest 5G network, and first-class benefits like Microsoft 365 on us. It's better for business and only with T-Mobile for Business. Limited time offer. Stop in store for details. Plus taxes and fees for some plans. Virtual Express MasterCard within 8 weeks of receipt of valid submission. Complete port within 60 days. See T-Mobile.com for 5G devices, coverage, and plan details.
It is the Blitz. You're on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. If you're on the go, go to ESPNSA.com. You can watch us live. The Blitz always brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. Jason Thompson at lawyerforus.com is his website. If you've been injured in an auto collision, you need to call Jason Thompson as soon as possible. Your first consultation is always absolutely free. You hire Jason. Jason is your lawyer. It doesn't get farmed out to some other attorney you didn't know you were hiring. We're going to do Game Night San Antonio in just a couple of minutes. Mellow Mushroom will bring him to you. Jill Jelnick will be here. We got some good sound from Pop. He spoke just a few minutes ago regarding coming back to work, LaMarcus, and the starting lineups as the Spurs will play Oklahoma City tonight and return from a long COVID hiatus. But in the meantime, the NFL's kicking around, has for several years, the idea of expanding the regular season and maybe even shortening the preseason where they make some real dollars at home. And it looks like that might actually happen, Jason. 17 regular season games and maybe only 3, dare I say, 3 preseason games coming. Are we going to miss those if they actually do that?
It's a trade-off, and no, nobody's going to miss it. I do think that we learned last year with 0 preseason games that preseason games are important. You know, that colleges can put together some sort of scrimmage, high school certainly scrimmage, but you could certainly tell, especially with the bottom part of the roster and on special teams, preseason games are certainly important. And I think part of that too was, the lack of an off season and a weird training camp. So, eliminating the preseason, that isn't going to happen. Eliminating 1 preseason game for 1 regular season and the money that goes with that, certainly a fair trade-off when you look at a smaller salary cap this year and the lack of revenues. And, what is the NFL asking for, like $3.5 billion now for Monday Night Football, and ESPN offered $2.5 billion. So, they're a couple of dollars apart there. So one of the ways to make that up is something that matters, and that would be another regular season game.
I think you brought up something really important to talk about. Is a way they can justify the cost, the massive rights fees that are going to come into this. You can justify it if you get 1 more game to sell, but the idea of 17, would you be down for another a double bye week? We've seen that before. It didn't really work.
No, and again, I think part of it is, when your team, first off, let me gather the thought there. What's going to happen to the Red Zone channel? Because if Red Zone channel goes away, or, it's no longer exclusive to DirecTV, you've got your own version of it on Dish Network. So, I mean, the reason why people like me won't part ways with DirecTV is because they got things that nobody else has. And so if that goes, so how much is DirecTV and AT&T going to pay to keep some of that exclusive content? But when my team isn't playing, I'm on the Red Zone channel all day. So I got to do that now twice. I feel like every time the Cowboys are on a Sunday night or a Thursday, that's all I do. So an extra bye week, if that helps the guys out, but they're still at 20 games. When you got 17 regular season games and 3 preseason games, it's still the same 20 games from the 4 preseason and 16 regular. So from the Players Association standpoint, they wouldn't have the argument about player safety like they had before when they talked about adding regular season games on top of what we already had and what that extra game means to a body. We're still at 20 regular season games than whatever postseason you're able to get into.
The rights fees that teams are that the league receives, ESPN spends $2 billion a year for Monday Night Football. Fox Sports and CBS pay $1.1 billion and $1 billion respectively for their Sunday games. Fox pays $650 million a year for their non-exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football. Sounds like a lot. It's about to go way up. And then when we talk about the Dak Prescott salary cap negotiations, this plays directly into that, because the TV deals and the money being made by the league and the teams therefore means salary cap goes up. Dak Prescott knows that the new deals are coming and there's going to be a spigot open up with money to be spent for players' salaries. This is why he wants this shorter deal. He wants to be available the first time this is available to the players. And when you see the dollar amount, you can understand why he's reticent to not sign that extra year of a deal.
Although, man, is he gambling big, but he already has. I mean, for a 4th-round pick, he hasn't made the money that other quarterbacks have made on their rookie contracts, those that were taken in the 1st round or the 2nd round. And I do think you have to have real conversations right now about what if Dak Prescott doesn't get a deal done. I firmly believe Jerry Jones will get it done. But I understand why Dak Prescott is dug in his heels. If they don't get Dak signed and they have to put him on the tag during this window, they better have in their planning room, their war room, their conference room, whatever you want to call it, they better have all the plans in place. Don't tell me, kind of like what we just went through with the electrical grid. Don't tell me we can handle it and then realize we ain't prepared. Cowboys have to now prepare for everything. And I find it interesting that Matt Miller, who just came over to ESPN as another draft expert type, had an interesting scenario, if you will, on ESPN Live earlier today on what the Cowboys will do if they can't sign Dak, and his thoughts on Dak overall.
Well, first they have to hide from all their fans if they don't get this deal done with Dak, because you have to bring this guy back, right? Even at 10 overall, Lori, there's not going to be a quarterback on the board. We don't expect anyway there to be a quarterback on the board who is going to be Dak Prescott, who is a sure thing. As the guy said, this is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Maybe redrafted the entire league. He might go after Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. He's that good. So the options, you can look at Mac Jones, I guess, at 10 overall. You don't want to do that, though. You're really the only way, if they decide Dak Prescott is not our future, you have to tag and trade him, get extra picks, and then you try to go up the board for a Justin Fields or Trey Lance. And as much as I like those guys, they are still not Dak Prescott. They're not proven commodities. They are prospects. Dak Prescott is a player. He is an all-pro caliber player. So really, Dallas has backed themselves into a corner. I like what Marks and Jeff are saying. They have backed themselves into a corner. Dak can now go get paid, because what is their other option? Bring back Andy Dalton for a year? That's not very realistic.
It's not, and neither are these rookie quarterbacks. And again, Jerry Jones wants to win another Super Bowl while he is alive. And when you look at the offensive line, we've missed the window with those boys. I mean, they're getting older and can't stay healthy, but you still got Zach Martin. You still got Collins. You got what's left of Tyron Smith. You got a new center in Tyler Badass. You're going to help that offensive line. You got Zeke, you got Cooper, you've got all these weapons there. So you're not going to sign and trade Dak Prescott so you can get some picks to go get some rookie. That just isn't going to happen. The Cowboys have to get Dak Prescott's deal done, and they're going to pay a lot more than they would have if they would have got a deal done 2 years ago. Jerry will cave.
The football goddess sometimes can be a bitch goddess, but it can be a goddess. And let's pray to that goddess and hope that Dak is unsigned, that negotiations are continuing when preseason begins, and Hard Knocks is there to cover it. It is time for Hard Knocks to go back to the star and dig into the morass and the mess that the Dallas Cowboys are. There is a distinct possibility, and their name is again being kicked around to get back onto Hard Knocks. And I think if Jerry had his way, he'd be on it every year regardless. But more than any other year, we got to have Hard Knocks in the star this year, don't you think?
I think Hard Knocks would be incredible. I don't like your scenario of Dak Prescott not signed, and would there be any kind of holdout when it comes to that? I want to see Dak Prescott as the leader. But it is kind of surprising that the Cowboys haven't been on Hard Knocks since 2008. I mean, you remember, running on the beach shirtless out there in Oxnard and Wade naked in that hot tub over there near where our radio setup is at. I mean, it's been a long time, but even when they have been on Hard Knocks, the Amazon Prime deal, I'd love to see Mike McCarthy getting the breakfast tacos after our Friday morning conversation. I mean, that kind of stuff is going to happen. And when you look at the teams available to Hard Knocks this year, the teams that can't tell Hard Knocks no, the Cowboys make the most sense.
When we come back, let's talk Spurs. Game night San Antonio brought to you by Mellow Mushroom. They're in OKC with a Skeletons crew. We're going to talk Spurs and hear from Pop himself. Hold on. It's coming around a bend here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM and on the go at ESPNSA.com. It is Wednesday afternoon. Happy hours are coming around the corner. You're going to be grilling all weekend long. If you're worried about your weight, if you're overweight and it is genuinely affecting your life, you can affect that and change it in a remarkably short amount of time. I met Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health a year ago last September. In that time, I jumped in on something that I never expected I would do, and that's called a diet. I walked in there wearing 300 pounds, not expecting to go on a diet. You know what? I didn't. Dr. Torres explained to me that for you to be where you need to be, you literally have to change your lifestyle, and you're going to need some help to do that. You need to have a program that is put together specifically and only for you, your biology, your genetics, your medical history coming into play, not some off-the-rack book or recommendation, true medical science applied to your weight loss program. And it becomes more than that. It becomes a lifestyle program. That's what I learned, and I want you to learn the same. It's the best thing I've ever done. And if you're living with someone, or if you are living with the just all the negative effects of being obese, we all know the day-to-day health issues in this day and age, but just the other stuff that you've always been concerned about, I hope, like hypertension and high cholesterol and all the diabetes and the things that go along with being overweight. You can fix that, and you can get it taken care of with the help of a professional and a program put together for you. I want you to call Dr. Torres. Here's his number, 210-468-1891. The website is instituteforfunctionalhealth.com. Eye-opening and explanatory. I recommend going there, but no better than going to the source. Meet with Dr. Torres however you can. He'll do it by Zoom. He'll do it by phone, but I recommend going down and meeting him. Get on a program that will literally change your life and those around you. Feel better, look better, and at the end of the day, live a healthier life. Call Dr. Torres, get on the program, start with the Institute for Functional Health, and I am sure you'll thank me later.
Hey, we're both working toward a common goal. Quitting time! This is San Antonio's sports leader, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm going to let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
I like a bed that's really firm.
I need something a little softer than that. Rest easy. With the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it really help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet. Okay, but can it help keep us asleep?
It's
It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss the final days to save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed, plus special financing on all smart beds. It ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. Goherenext.com.
The U.S. supply of COVID-19 vaccine will be limited at first. Bexar County is following the recommendations made by the Texas Department of State Health Services. In Bexar County, 60% of our population falls within the first group. There will be more opportunities to receive the vaccine. We will keep you informed and ask for your patience in this process. It is important for everyone to continue to practice social distancing, wear a mask, and get vaccinated when it is their turn. Do it for you. Do it for your family. Do it for San Antonio. For more info, visit covid19.sanantonio.gov or call 311.
Game Night San Antonio.
Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Manu Ginobili.
This is Matt Bonner, a.k.a. the Red Rocket, a.k.a. the Red Mamba, a.k.a. the Sandwich Hunter.
Hi, this is DeJounte Murray. It's Game Night San Antonio.
Game Night San Antonio.
Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
It's Game Night San Antonio here on ESPN. He's Jason Minix. I'm Rob Thompson. Jill Jelnick joins us. Mellow Mushroom presents it. Game night. The Spurs have Oklahoma City. And you know why? You never take anybody for granted. If you had to play a team with the roster that the Spurs have skillfully put together with all the COVID absenteeism, it would be Oklahoma City, who has been kind of on the doldrums lately. They've lost 7 of 9. The Spurs travel up there with a freshly healthy LaMarcus. Jill Jelnick joins us from YOLO tonight, YOLO and Sports Tonight. We heard from Pop earlier. This is going to be an interesting night as the Spurs jump back into the NBA fray.
Absolutely interesting and hopefully exciting. We're going to see some matchups, some guys get out there, play some minutes that we haven't normally seen work together. Pop had a little fun today with the lineup, and he had to be pressed a little bit more as to who exactly was starting, but he did confirm that DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Jakob Poeltl, Trey Lyles, and Luka Samanic will be starting for the Spurs tonight. And yes, Rob, that means that LaMarcus Aldridge is coming off the bench.
That is so bizarre. And again, and you talked about how he had to get pressed, and a nice little back and forth with our friend Jeff McDonald from the San Antonio Express News. And, he did kind of bury it. It's almost like he was embarrassed to say, this is my starting 5.
I'm going to select 5 people.
Let's play it.
To start for us.
Do you know those 5 people yet?
I do. Jeff, your questions are amazing. Mr. Murray, Mr. Walker, Mr. Samanic, Mr. Lyles, and Mr. Poeltl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what? And that long president, but that was Pop. That was part of the soundbite. I mean, it was like, yeah, you don't want to know our starting 5. I can't believe I'm turning this in. I'm a professional coach. I'm Greg
talk
Popovich,
about this.
And here is my starting 5.
This is significant. Now, I know that coming off of an injury, and I know that Papa was, intentionally obtuse there, but this is LaMarcus coming off of an injury, spending a long time gone. And in his absence, the Spurs start turning it on and finding their depth. And when he returns in the midst of losing all this other skill, all these other starters that are not going to be available, and LaMarcus is still coming off the bench. Now, we can blame that now maybe on injury, but I'll tell you what, this certainly feels like something that would be long-term, considering they're going to start Luka Samanic, who's run pretty well against the JV, but coming up to start.
And I think that's part of it, how well Luka played at the G League level. And it also tells me that LaMarcus wouldn't be playing tonight if they weren't missing 5 guys because of COVID and DeMar for personal reasons after the passing of his father. I mean, Pop was asked if LaMarcus was going to be on a minutes restriction tonight.
not in a physical sense because of injury or anything like that. We'll see what kind of shape he's in. He hasn't played in a while, so we'll find that out as the game goes.
And it kind of makes me think about, he's had one practice, and Pop talked about him being winded in that one practice. And so my guess is if they weren't shorthanded, LaMarcus would not be playing tonight. And I hope that's where it is, not LaMarcus is coming off the bench for the first time since he was probably 8.
Actually, 2007, to be exact, was the last time that LaMarcus Aldridge did not start a game and came off the bench. It was with Portland, and that was playoffs included, not counting All-Star games, 2007. But you were close, Jason.
Well, 8-7, and see how it ended in Portland for him.
Yeah. we act like, and I certainly agree that he is coming off an injury and he hadn't had a chance to practice due to the nature of his injury. We are talking about a hip flexor. So there's a lot of things that he's been unable to do over the last couple of weeks. But if this was LaMarcus 2 years ago, if this was LaMarcus just, at any other time, when a guy of the ilk of LaMarcus comes back healthy, he starts. Now, the number of minutes might not vary whether he started or not, but there is something to be said about being the guy that gets his name announced, that gets high fives walking onto the floor before the game even starts. And he didn't get that tonight. Now, I'm not sure whether Pop's actions beforehand, he was trying to lessen the blow, or maybe the explanation was, look, you're not ready. And this is a game, quite frankly, I don't even know what my bench structure is going to look like. So just sit over there and I'll call you when I need you. But this is a significant moment. I'm not going to lessen it just because of the COVIDs. You start guys like this, when they're healthy enough to play or they're not. And he's obviously healthy enough to play.
Rob, it's a huge moment, very significant moment for these Spurs because they are down half their roster. And I think I completely agree with you guys when you say that he would be starting if he was up physically for it. Pop did confirm it's not so much a minutes restriction thing from his hip or his injury. It's more of his being in shape. He's been out of basketball shape for so long. He would be in that starting lineup. I think we all know if he was 100%. But this is where I disagree with you guys. Jason, specifically, you used the word embarrassed to describe Pop kind of announcing his lineup. And I'm going to say more away from embarrassed and more just Coach Pop having fun. I think tonight it is all about Coach Pop seeing what he has and giving guys opportunities, and especially Luka Samanic. I don't think that Pop was trying to shy away from it. I actually think he was kind of playing games with the media and wanting us to earn that. And Jeff McDonald, credit to him for getting that out of him. But I think Pop was having a little more fun with it. And I think he sees tonight as what we described a significant moment for his team, because we're going to have a lot of guys playing with different people and different players that we haven't seen before.
And there might be a lot of that. I'm curious what the media reaction was after they announced Luka and you realized LaMarcus would be coming off the bench, because, clearly Luka sucked when he was at the NBA level prior to going down to the G League. The biggest difference in the G League, he was starting, and he played great basketball as a starter. Is Pop trying to find something there? That, or he's going to get benched 2 minutes in, and LaMarcus is going to end up with starting minutes, and he just wants to know very early on what he's really got with Luka.
Pop said a month ago, there were two things he wanted to see from Luka in terms of his improvement. One, his work ethic, and two, building his overall confidence. Tonight is Coach Pop giving Luka an opportunity to show whether or not he was able to make those adjustments.
We've got Oklahoma City tonight. The Thunders, they are reeling. They haven't played very well over the last several weeks, but they have, in fact, actually been playing, so it does kind of help things. They're coming in with Theo Maledon, Lugans Dort, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Darius Baisley, and Al Horford. It's a veritable who's who on the rosters coming up and down. We're gonna look at the starters, talk about what Pop had to say, and try to figure out what Luka's gonna do tonight as he gets his very first start in his young NBA career. Oklahoma City on the docket. Game night San Antonio, brought to you by Mellow Mushroom, continues next here on 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at ESPNSA.com.
You know, during the winter storm, you either had a water pipe break or you know someone who did. Jason Minnick's here for BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology. At BSG, they have a water valve controller that could save you thousands if you have a water leak. And we all know that you don't have to have a hard freeze for a pipe to bust and flood your house. It happens every day. You can protect your home by calling BSG at 210-877-1222. That smart valve from BSG goes on your main water line. If it detects any leak, it will notify you on your phone, on your app, and turn off the water. The smart valve shuts down leaks before they can turn into floods. Stay ahead of water waste and high bills. Monitor your water usage and pipes right from your phone. Talk about smart home technology from a company you can trust. You get that peace of mind your home is protected when you're not home. BSG of Texas, making smart home automation simple. Call 210-877-1222. 210-877-1222 or learn more at their website, bsgtexas.com/radio. That's bsgtexas.com/radio.
Sundays are for the grill. The Sunday Sports Grill, 11 in the morning to 1. Chop it up and grill with former and current Rock the Mic champs Michael Jimenez and Quinn Hudson. The Sunday Sports Grill,
11 to 1 every Sunday.
Hey, Matthew, we need to restock those sleeping bags.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
One of you cover this register?
Like at Anita's outdoor store. To keep sales climbing, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey folks, Bob at Barbecue Outfitters, and it's time for our Spring into Spring sale now through Saturday, March the 6th. Barbecue Outfitters is your Central Texas homegrown barbecue grill store in Texas for 23 years running. Barbecue Outfitters is cooking up great deals on all our classic products, including Weber grills, the Big Green Egg, the Kamado Joe, Traeger pellet smokers, and all our outdoor kitchen products. All qualifying grills get instant double in-store rebates with savings of $40 to over $800. Barbecue Outfitters has free assembly and free in-home service for 1 year. Plus, Barbecue Outfitters is clearancing our gas logs and fire pits with savings of up to 40%. A great time to get your grill, smoker, outdoor kitchen, gas logs, or fire pit. Barbecue Outfitters on 1604 at Chavano Park next to the Ridge Shopping Center and at bbqoutfitters.com. Come check out our Spring into Spring sale now through March 6th and get ready to grill or smoke like a pro. Come and see us.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/hire. That's ZipRecruiter.com/hire.
If you drive a car, truck, SUV, or vehicle of any kind, you need Get Upside, the free gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. That's right. With the free Get Upside gas app, you can get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time you buy gas. Nearly 3 million people have earned cash back with Get Upside just for buying gas.
I always use Get Upside. Some months I make $200 to $300.
I love getting money back for things I use every day. It's just free money for buying gas.
There's no catch. It's simple. And you get your cash back right away.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code OIL for a 50-cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 75 cents a gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Earn cash back on gas on every fill up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code OIL for a 50-cent per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code OIL.
Let me tell you why I love my Spurs, man.
Game Night San Antonio, brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
This is Matt Bonner.
This is Manu Ginobili. Hi, this is Dejounte Murray. It's Game Night San Antonio.
Game Night San Antonio,
Brought to you by the Mellow Mushroom.
Go get some pizza and enjoy a good game tonight. The Spurs taking on the Oklahoma City Thunders up there in Oklahoma City. The Spurs, as we start tonight, are in fine shape, 16-11, taking 2 weeks off and rising in the standings. It's hard to beat as they sit in fifth place. The Thunder are 12-19, are 3-7 in their last 10, and they lost their last outing. So the Spurs go in tonight very shorthanded. The COVIDs have gotten them, and they're going to start Lucas Samanic. I want to talk about that in a bit, but let's talk about the news of the week. DeMar DeRozan did not get picked by the NBA Brain Trust to play in the All-Star game. I wonder how the team took that. I know we saw what DeJounte did, and that's truly in the spirit of a leader. Jason, we saw that when you look at a team that, no All-Star, they're sitting in fifth place, that could be a good rallying cry as they try to defend DeMar's name.
Well, and again, and DeMar even tweeted about it. DeJounte talked about the disrespect where he was on the ESPN 100 list. But even Greg Popovich today said he was extremely disappointed he didn't get the All-Star nod.
I was disappointed that he didn't make it. I feel badly for him. He deserved to be on the All-Star team, in my opinion. He's helped us win, put us in good position. He's scored. He's distributed the basketball. His leadership's been amazing.
You hear that. Do you think Pop campaigns for his guys? Do you think he picked up the phone and called other coaches to try to make sure he gets on the All-Star roster? Because if Pop calls you and says, dude, my guy needs to be on there, do you think teams are going to put him on there? Those coaches are going to vote for him?
I think
so. Well, I think he does, but you also have to understand that when you play for Pop, you play for all of Pop's popness. And, for 25 years, it has been Pop and success, and a myriad of people have come and gone. But quite frankly, it's really only been 3 or 4 that have played this huge role. And I think a lot of times, what if DeMar was doing the same thing in Toronto or just for another middling team, he would have gotten the recognition. But because he's doing it for Pop and not for Milk or whoever else he would have been playing for, Pop gets all the credit and DeMar doesn't. And I think that's unfortunate, and I think that played into why he wasn't picked, because it's a system thing.
Which is more the reason why I think Pop needs to pick up the phone and call, because clearly it matters to DeMar. And, Jalen and Jacoby earlier today, they were talking about who's the dude that ended up with the Knicks and he makes the team. And they talked about it was the relationship that Coach Tibbs has, calling around, making sure his guy makes the team.
Julius Randle?
Randle. And it got me to thinking – earlier, I wonder what Pop's reaction is going to be. And when I hear that soundbite, now I start to wonder, did Pop pick up the phone and call around and get his guy on the team?
And maybe he did, because I agree with you, Jason. I think any coach in this league that gets a call from Coach Pop and Coach Pop, campaigning for his guy, God, I mean, talk about the immense pressure, right? With Coach Pop telling you to do something, because he's so purposeful and intentional.
Do you guys really believe that Pop
I don't
calls
think he
you
does.
to change your vote? I don't think he does. And if he did, I wouldn't take the call. What the hell are you talking about? What? While we're talking, let me talk up my guy, Pop. I mean, your guy's better than my guy? I mean,
I don't think
he's
Pop
calling
makes
other
the
people.
call, because if Pop makes the call, DeMar is going to Atlanta.
I don't think so, dude. I got my own guys to worry about. I'll vote for my guy before your guy. I know you love your guy, but your guy's crap. My guy's my guy. No, they're not calling. If Pop calls me, I'm not sure. Pop, it's still a secret
Avoid
ballot,
the
right?
call, block it. you block it. That's what you do.
When Pop calls you from that ridiculous sat phone, like 87 numbers show up on your caller ID. Ain't nobody answering that anyway. I mean, you see that and you think, man, they're going to try to get the extended car warranty and your new mortgage all in one call and get your IRS number when you see that many numbers on your caller ID.
It comes down to who is DeMar going to replace? I think that's it, because there's only so many spots. So many people are quick to take to social media and say, oh, why isn't so-and-so in there? Oh, Devin Booker got snubbed. Well, he's in there now. But people are so quick to jump on that. But how many of those people also recommend who they should take off the list? That's what it comes down to.
Right.
And
I
you
don't
look
want
at
things
the
to be
four
hard,
Western
Jill. I mean,
teams.
that's the hard part of things. We don't want to go there. We just know our guy needs to be there. And then, of course, the idea of expanding the roster so everybody gets in and gets their little all-star patch for the Letterman jacket. I mean, that's going to be the next step.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
You know, the news of the night, quite frankly, is that not so much that LaMarcus is not starting, because, you know, he's coming back and the understanding there. But look, Lucas Samanic getting the start. When last we saw him in a Spurs uniform, not an Austin Spurs, but a San Antonio Spur uniform, it was awful. This guy he was lacking in a variety of different places. He goes to Austin, and suddenly the improvement is amazing. How important is tonight for Luka?
Extremely. This could be the biggest game he plays in a Spurs uniform, because I truly believe this is his biggest chance. This is his biggest opportunity. I think Coach Pop is doing this purposefully, serving Luka up on a platter to us and showing us okay, yes, he's excelling at the G League, but can he do this at the NBA level? And basically, I think we're going to walk away tonight having believed one thing or another about Luka. Yes, there's a future with him here, or there's potential here, or no, there's not. And that might be Coach Pop's plan all along, is just to use this. That's why he's using him in a starting position. Go ahead, throw him in the fire. You've had several months now to show to improve and make adjustments. Rob, this is the biggest opportunity Luka will have.
And it's also an opportunity that sets him up for success. So if he can't have success against Oklahoma City, what kind of success can he have against better NBA competition? It's not like he's coming in and starting against the Utah Jazz or the Lakers or something like that. It's Oklahoma City. And so I do think that, a lot of thought and, purpose behind Pop's decision here to start him in a situation where he should be set up for success and gain the confidence that he can do it at the NBA level. And then over time, as teams' competition gets tougher, he will be more confident in playing at the NBA level at a high level.
When last we saw Oklahoma City, Lonnie Walker went off for 24 points. They were the Thunders were paced by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Now we're going to go in there shorthanded. We saw 112-102 win last we saw them. Where does the offense come from tonight, Jill?
Excellent question. I think you're going to see a lot with Jakob Poeltl. I think you'll see Dejounte Murray step up maybe a little bit more, and instead of being more of a facilitator and ball handler, taking control a little bit. I also would like to see Lonnie Walker. I would like to see him not only step up, but really take charge. I think if I were to guess who the majority of the offense would be with tonight for the Spurs, I'm going to say Lonnie Walker. I think he's going to look at this opportunity as a chance for himself to really excel, show his assertiveness, his aggressiveness, and come out of his shell. He's been in a little bit of I don't want to say a slump, just because the Spurs have had so many other great players around him doing well, with Derek White's return and also Dejounte Murray and Keldon Johnson. So I think this is a great chance for Lonnie Walker to really step up. As you mentioned, Rob, he had a great game against the Thunder, and the last time they were out, the Spurs won that game. This is what I think a great game, a great setup for Walker.
And I would say on top of that, quite honestly, LaMarcus playing with the second unit with Patty Mills, I think both of those guys, especially being second unit guys, could end up playing close to starter-like minutes, especially a guy like Patty. And then whoever's coming off the bench on the coaching staff that can give a couple of minutes, maybe it's Becky. Pop still has some hops. We've seen that. They might have to go pretty deep tonight just because they are so shorthanded.
My money's on Becky for sure.
I would be mine as well. When you see who the Spurs are going to be dealing with, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been a tough stop for the Spurs for a bit. Al Horford is a good matchup at their five. He and Baisley are not the post-up types. It does kind of match up what the Spurs are bringing to the table. With Luka starting, and what we saw in Austin, do you see a fair amount of plays being run for him? I mean, will he be the focus to see if he can be the Rudy Gay bucket getter that we thought he would be when he was drafted, Jason?
You would hope. I mean,
the focus, I think that's too strong. I think that's too much for his first game. Absolutely not. I think the focus for Luka should be really his defense, because from everything I've heard and seen from the G League, that has been one of his biggest strengths. So I think if Luka can not just keep up, but maybe minimize any, first time mistakes. I think that would be a success for Luka.
The thing with Luka in the folk, I mean, all of it's just building some confidence here. He's going to make his mistakes because they're so shorthanded. He'll be able to make his mistake and not get pulled immediately. He might have to make 4 or 5 bad plays in a row to get pulled with Pop angry. And that's why, I mean, Rob, I think about the question you ask, and it's hard to gauge because my expectation for Luka is so little, but this is an opportunity against an Oklahoma City team that he should match up well against, that he is being set up for success. But he's been a bust to this point. It's hard to come up with complimentary things to say that I'm excited to see from this guy, other than he has a pulse and is actually wearing a uniform.
Are we in a situation where you can't
after tonight?
Well, are we in a situation, quite frankly, where you can't fall off the floor, or can he? Because again, it was looking when he got moved to Austin. This is the 19th pick that the Spurs offered, and they're being saved by Keldon's production. It's not the end of the road for Luka, but when preparation that you're supposed to have meets the opportunity that he's going to get tonight, those don't come on very often. And a lot of coaches would never consider putting Luka in this position, especially Pop. This is Greg Popovich that's putting Luka straight from the G League into a starting position on the road after not playing for a couple of weeks. That's a huge amount of trust being placed on a guy who quite frankly hasn't earned it.
He excelled as a starter at the G League. He sucked off the bench at the NBA level. Maybe that's the difference, and Pop is trying to figure out that formula.
Spurs win?
No.
Spurs win.
You don't think so? Well, I'm going to go with the Spurs win. The Thunders are reeling. We'll sum it up tomorrow. This has been Game Night.
ESPN San Antonio and Stevens Roofing come together in our Drive to End Hunger, brought to you in part by
Quarter Moon Heating and AC, Roof Fix, and Airtron Heating and Air Conditioning.
With the pandemic still in full swing and many families struggling financially, we have come together to support the San Antonio Food Bank to help set the table for 58,000 individuals a week.
Join us and give what you can at ESPNSA.com through March 19th.
Every dollar counts. The ESPN San Antonio and Stevens Roofing Drive to End Hunger.
Mother's Window Tint sells Alpine car stereo. Mother's Window Tint, your car stereo and auto security headquarters, is the nation's newest Alpine dealer. To celebrate, we're saving you money on everything we sell. Car stereos, speakers, subwoofers, amplifiers, car alarms, remote start alarms, ceramic window tint, GPS